J Squad.
We gotta find now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find
I clicked the wrong button. All right. I'll start it early. Oh, I'm losing my mind today. Well, welcome everybody. Another beautiful day. More fun stuff across the internet. Tectone is getting the boot apparently and going to Rumble. We'll see how true it is. He's put out a video if we have time towards the end after what's his name? After ShaMoos video, then we'll go into it. Let me get Crimson Desert pulled up. I've been waiting to play this game. I haven't had time to get into it. I'm too old a man. But here we go. Let's see here. So yeah, Tectone doing Tectone things, getting broke the protection order apparently. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh. I'm only a few hours in, but I am starting to love the game. I think in a way they did cook with it. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. We'll get that running. What else do we have? Let's see if I can bring up some of the... I wanted to bring up something that I found interesting. Let's see here. What is it? Where did it go? I got into a little spat. I'm pretty sure he's not going to say anything back. But Yorch follows this guy, right? This Art of Purpose. Let's get this over here. Art of Purpose. Boop. Is an X account. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Where do we got? There it is. There it is. He's got this. I mean, he's basically a copy paste. Oh God, what's it called? Copy paste scam artist. Copy paste grifter. The kind of guys that take poor, weak-minded souls like old Yorch Torch and trick them into, you know, paying money to join this masterclass. $59.90 or $59 right there. Yeah, buy my course. And then this one over here, create 24/7. $149. I mean, there's a Clown World even follows them. JDA follows them. But I wanted to show off this masterclass. I kind of feel sorry for Yorch now. I kind of feel sorry for him, Kamoji, because he's paying for this. Like generic, oh look, Roman, Greek art, and then we have Masterclass, a community of social media entrepreneurs, 369 rating, and of course you could subscribe for $59.99 a month. The Masterclass is a private master. Yorch does the same, so I don't feel bad, to be honest. True, well, he's trying to do the same, right? That's kind of his whole thing. He's trying to do the same little grift as this guy. Dino Anthony. Definitely a fake name. We collaborate in real time, and we build in the trenches with you. We're there for you. This is about pushing each other to move faster, think bigger, and win together. So yeah, this is pretty much like all of these are, he's so good, not like AI that glazes your dumb slop. I love the Masterclass. Dino is a great energy and provides clear and actionable feedback. Wow. What an interesting way to say it. It sounds like AI. It sounds like these are all AI messaging, and that's why it says, not like that AI, not like AI that glazes your dumb slop. Dino gives it to you straight because he cares. And, yeah. All of these accounts look like same symbol, same symbol, same symbol. AI sounding names. Sky Swall. So I wanted to show this off a little bit. This stuff is just straight trash. Now, funny thing about this account, I mean, look at him. It's got to be working, right? 353,000 followers. Oh. What's this? This is what? Is that today? No, this was a pinned message from the 23rd. It's the 27th. 43 likes, 14K impressions. 59 likes, 1,600 impressions. 1,500 impressions, 135 likes. 36 likes with 2,000 impressions. I mean, something's not adding up here. Something is just not adding up. Now, he has a few in here, like 16, 107. Now, this one got 955, but it's got 25K impressions. So it does not seem like, it fits. Doesn't seem right. Oh, look, this one had 800,000 impressions and 59K likes. Like, who's got him set so that they can, receive his posts that he makes only 59 on one post and then 900 on another. This one did 20K, 900. I mean, it's just absolutely out of the, like, fake account, fake. What I think it is, here's my theory. Hold on. We're going to get into this. Come on, bud. Come up. There we are. This is my 10 hat theory. He botted all of his followers, but he can't afford to bot his likes every time. So he doesn't. He'll just choose a post at random and bot it. Oh, that's what I think. What is this even? Can you spot the difference? Projected age 100, projected age 112, 10 years? Yeah, it's just basic engagement posts about the West is all fucked up. Yeah, just like Andrew Tate, yet this is yet another guy who has made millions of dollars giving people useless advice that sounds amazing. I don't think he's made millions. And why I don't think he's made millions is he only says that there are 400 people in his Discord. I think he's trying to. He's trying to make millions. It's worth over $200 of goodies for free in the subscription. Where was it? Discord. Explain on demand. I know I saw it. I know. Oh, here. Thousands of hours, event strategies, courses. I don't see it now. But that's fine. Jesus. Past and future guests. Like, look at these guys. How much you want to bet that none of these guys has come to his little show? I know he only has about 400 reviews. Yeah. So I don't think he's making millions. I think he's trying to be that guy, and he's not that guy. Like, he's not making money off of X. Like, he's not making money with most of his tweets getting this, and him occasionally botting for, 59K. Like, there's 20K, back down to 100, 100. You see 6.2K. Yeah, I don't think he's making any more money than maybe Yorch is. But anyway, I thought that was a little funny account. Boop. To go over as we get ready for the content today. So my next first video that I want to watch is going to be Otterly Noah's little modern criticism about Nintendo. I personally try and stay out of the Nintendo shit because it's fucking cancer, right? Nintendo fans are, I mean, they're not even fans at this point. Like, you could say fanatics, but they're like flat out a cult. But let's see what the Otter has to say, and then later we're gonna get into Smash. I wanted to look at his AI takes and see what that was all about. Like, is he actually turning on AI? Is he intelligent enough to understand, like, what's happening around AI? And we'll see.
It feels like OpenAI.
Oh, that was the wrong one. Spoiler.
It's been 1 year now since the Switch 2 came out? I know, right? Crazy how time flies. Nintendo as a company has existed for the better part of 130 years.
Has it already been a year since that came out? Holy shit. That's nuts. I'm not buying that system.
Now and has been making successful video games for the better part of 40 years now. As a result, it's a company whose games have been a part of multiple generations of people for quite some time now. And multiple different kinds of people from various walks of life have their own sentimental Nintendo experience that they grew up with. It does seem to be a common thing with Nintendo fans overall, having played and loved the games as a kid and still continuing to play and love the games today. However,
yeah, I mean, I was pretty much Nintendo growing up my entire life. It wasn't until I think Xbox was my first system away, and then I got a PlayStation. I had both a PlayStation and an Xbox as an adult, and I still played Nintendo games. They was just, I guess, less common.
in the year of our Lord 2026, one particular thing seems very uncommon and also very unnuanced when it comes to Nintendo currently. And of course, that's none other than online criticism of the company itself. Online discussion and discourse surrounding Nintendo has existed almost as long as online discussion of media.
So I wonder if he's gonna glaze Nintendo. Am I gonna have to like kick back on the Otter?
Overall has been a thing. But in recent memory, I think we've seen a very clear and also a very telling divide between the kinds of Nintendo criticism that is currently available out there. Rather than there being a plethora of fair or nuanced criticism about Nintendo and both the bad and the good surrounding the company, it seems in recent memory, Nintendo criticism has essentially dissolved into two big extremes, that being the Nintendo shills and the Nintendo grifters. And unfortunately, there is almost no in-between whatsoever when it comes to criticism of Nintendo. I think criticism of Nintendo in the modern age has definitely hit a major low point, since instead of there being a plethora of fair, nuanced criticism about Nintendo in online spaces, you pretty much only have two different opposite ends of an extreme spectrum.
I'm gonna say this is just kind of something that happens everywhere. I dropped off Nintendo stuff after the Wii. I joined the military and got into more PC stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of similar to mine. If you don't mind saying, what were you in the military? What branch did you join? But yeah, it's... I got a Switch eventually, right? But that wasn't until I was already married. Very recently, long after the Switch had come out. I'd say I'd maybe had it a couple of years. And even then, I don't play it much. My son mostly uses it for Fortnite and one of the other games that he plays where he's like running around as a marshmallow. Emulation makes Nintendo accessible. Fuck buying single-use hardware. Absolutely, I agree. Like the whole cards, like, oh, we're just faking out giving you a card so that you still feel like you're getting physical products. It's just insane. It's like, who wants to do this? Who wants people like a lot of people who liked Nintendo liked it because you got physical cards. I mean, they like the games and stuff, but it's great having physical cards. Nice. My dad was in the Navy, EGAD. It wasn't as simple for me to own a console, but owning a laptop, it just made that for work stuff and games aside simpler. Yeah, with me, it was I went on my first little deployment over to, I wouldn't call it much of a deployment, over to Qatar, and the PC, you know, I bought my first gaming PC, really, a little Omen that had like a 1060 in it. And it was just easier, and Steam was like just coming out at the time, so I started using Steam, and I could download the games and then go play them in my room, you know, away from the Wi-Fi. And it was just like, I have no reason to go back to console at that point. It was just, yeah. Now, my son wants a PlayStation, and he's been asking for it for Christmas, but then then I look what just happened.
You have Camp 1, aka the shills, who act like everything Nintendo does in the modern age is all good and there are no problems whatsoever, which obviously is wrong. But on the other end of that, you have Camp 2, the grifters, who pretty much consistently put out hate content of Nintendo, sometimes daily in some cases, and come off more like they're just trying to generate hate and negativity about Nintendo just for the sake of it, rather than actually criticizing the company in any real fashion. So today, I want to look at both Nintendo grifters and shills, talk about why exactly neither of them provide any kind of real criticism of Nintendo, and also just...
To be frank, it wasn't just Nintendo. I used to own an Xbox, an Xbox 360, did LAN parties with folks, but I think around 2012, I didn't really have a reason to own a console. Well, yeah, mine was in 2010, but I mean, I had that too. We got together and did Xbox LAN parties. I've done PC parties. God, I don't think I've ever done it with PlayStation, but yeah, we did all of that stuff as friends. Maybe I need to turn the volume down on this thing real quick once this dude gets done talking. I'm just glad your son doesn't want a 5090. Yeah, tell me about it. I was just watching a video. We're going to get to it a little bit in the AI, but I was listening to a video talking about the economy around like the chips and stuff like that. And apparently a lot of these cards that are getting sent out to these data centers are just stuck in warehouses, and in fact they're probably going to be out of date by the time they go to install them. So the data centers, if they ever get built, because some of them don't seem to be getting built anytime soon, like the ones that they said were being built in 2023 still aren't finished, so they can't even put in the cards that they've bought for that. It's a mess. We'll talk about it a little bit when we talk about Smash.
Talk about what real criticism of Nintendo in the modern age should look like in general. First, let's go over the topic of the idea of Nintendo's shills, since I think that is currently the camp that is losing influence for reasons we'll get into shortly, but also they are still definitely worth discussing since they do muddle the pot quite a bit on real Nintendo criticism. To explain the current state of what I consider the Nintendo shills on YouTube, we actually need to go back to last year in June when the Switch 2 originally launched. When the Switch 2's price tag was officially unveiled, that being $450 for the console-only package and $500 for the Mario Kart World Bundle, a lot of gamers and people on YouTube in general took note of how big of a price jump this was from the Switch 1. Probably the most notable person on YouTube, specifically in terms of Nintendo YouTubers, to criticize Nintendo initially for their price tag on the Switch 2 was none other than our Australian Fabio wannabe, that being beat-em-ups. In terms of channels that pretty much exclusively cover Nintendo, their hardware, their games, and their accessories, beat-em-ups is probably the most popular one, having over 1.8 million subscribers. So as you can probably imagine, he has quite a bit of influence in terms of Nintendo discourse on the internet in general. Originally, when the Switch 2's prices were announced, beat-em-ups did a video called "Why is the Switch 2 so expensive?" In this video, he talked about all the different accessories, the main console itself, and all the games in regards to the Switch 2 and discussed how he thought all of it was very expensive. Now, there are actually a lot of things I do agree with beat-em-ups on here. I definitely think the tutorial type game that Nintendo made for the Switch 2 should not be a paid feature whatsoever. This really should have just been something that came pre-packaged with the system, not something you had to pay extra for.
But there were definitely multiple moments where I kind of had to just look in the camera and wince and wonder what I was hearing.
Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour will launch as a paid digital game on the same day as Nintendo Switch 2. So please check it out if you're interested.
Paid? An instructional pamphlet, which, you know, instructional pamphlet's something you usually pick up for free on the way out of AAA after they inspect your car, you know, just a little bit of information on what's going on.
Including a button on the
Imagine, like, this is going into kind of the whole Nintendo thing as a whole versus what's being, you know, what Noah's saying. Imagine buying a disc or buying a game in the old days, and you go to open it up and there's no booklet. The booklet was like my favorite part of buying games, especially when I was a kid. I would like rip that thing open in the car, pull out the booklet and start reading. Now imagine if it said the booklet cost extra money to get. Oh, don't say that like Nintendo doesn't shield or doesn't try and pull every penny out of you.
Console's controller that also does technically cost money to activate isn't really a good move either, in my opinion.
Watching Scootish's stream and he said it and it made me think about it.
Nowadays
The
is
C
sold
button
separately.
is for the chat app,
Yep.
but the chat app costs money. It's free initially if you press the button and you can get into a chat with friends. It's free initially until like March next year, but then after that, you have to pay.
I also heavily agree with his opinion here on Mario Kart World, especially given the fact this was before the game even came out, and in retrospect, after having played the game for a bit, since it came bundled with my Switch 2, I have to say, I don't think it's worth $80 at all. I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a far better Mario Kart game than Mario Kart World. The fact this is one of the only Mario Kart games where you have to unlock Donkey Kong instead of having him as a starter character, which most other Mario Kart games do, I think alone speaks volumes to the amount of lackluster quality in this game. My best Monkey Boy deserves better than this. But
I actually refused to buy the Switch 2's version of Mario Kart because I was like, I'll just keep waiting till it goes on sale. But of course, Nintendo never puts anything on sale. That's their IP, so I just never ended up buying it. I wasn't worth for me to pay the money to buy it. But then the new Switch comes out and it's even more expensive for games and everything else, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just 100% out of Nintendo now. There's no reason for me to stay.
all joking aside, even outside of that, the overworld is really empty and incredibly lifeless and not really that interesting at all. And I don't really think Nintendo lived up to a very immersive open-world Mario Kart game, which they were trying to advertise initially when this was announced. The game just feels so empty, and it definitely is not worth $80. So these initial criticisms of Nintendo's business practices I actually do agree with, but for some reason, something very interesting happened around the Switch's launch. When the Switch 2 officially came out, beat-em-ups for some reason mysteriously seemed to change his tune. He ended up right away buying every single Switch 2 accessory and every single Switch 2 launch game as well. Now, obviously right away you could write this off saying, yeah, he's a Nintendo YouTuber.
He wasn't the only one that did that too. There was a bunch of people that were talking mad smack on Nintendo and then immediately bought it when it came out. It was like, you have no balls. You don't preach, you don't say what you preach, you just, you know. Mudahar. Yes, Mudahar was another one. It's like, I'm not getting the Switch, it's too much money. I'm gonna vote with my wallet. And then they all buy, and I'm like, well, there you go, you voted with your wallet. You don't have enough willpower not to buy it.
Of course he's gonna buy the Switch 2 console and games. And maybe every single accessory as well, although admittedly that seems a bit excessive. But then if you're just gonna go ahead and do that anyway, why make a video acting like you care about the Switch 2's pricing and complaining about that, and try to act like you're trying to create a nuanced conversation about it when you're just gonna go ahead and buy all the accessories and the games at launch? It really makes your audience question just how much value your word held to.
Well, you also got to think about this, like, especially with accounts like Beat 'em Up, where he's strictly Nintendo. What else is he going to do now if he, yeah, he talked mad shit on Nintendo, but is he not going to keep covering Nintendo? Is he not going to buy the systems and tell people about them? Now, I don't know if he hard shilled all that stuff afterwards. We'll see if Otterly says that. But we're talking about money talks, and if he tries to pivot away from Nintendo, he's going to lose the vast majority of his audience and have to build up again
To begin with, and also makes them realize you didn't actually care that much about the pricing to begin with. I also do want to point out one extra thing about his launch game video that I think is pretty egregious in particular. For those who probably remember, one of the launch titles for the Switch 2, and funny enough, also one of the more affordable ones, was Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, which was an HD port of the classic 3DS game. This is pretty much widely considered to be one of the greatest JRPGs of all time, and easily one of the best of the 21st century. So naturally, a lot of people were hyped to be able to play it on a new platform and also with new enhanced graphics as well. But for some reason, despite the fact Beat 'em Ups tries to pass off this video like he's gonna review every single Switch 2 launch game, he actually admits he doesn't even have Bravely Default on hand to review and is just gonna go off of other reviews when discussing it here in this video.
There is actually one game missing from my physical collection, and while I have ordered it from GameStop, Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD doesn't arrive until the weekend, and I wanted to film this video already. So this is the one game I personally haven't tried yet, but I will have tried it before this video comes out, and if anything I say is off base, I'll make an edit. I'm just gonna go by what I've seen online and what other people are saying about this one.
Like, at the very least, try to...
So he's a review channel for Nintendo. He's saying he's reviewing games, but when it comes to the game he doesn't have, he's just going to say what everyone else says. So does he review any of his games, or is it just like he looks at the popular opinion with Nintendo and what his Nintendo fans are going to enjoy and go with that?
wait a bit until you actually get the game so you can do a real review of it. It doesn't make any sense to play this up like you're gonna talk about every single Switch 2 game and review them when you're not actually gonna do that. You straight up admit you don't even have one of the key launch titles and lack the ability to review it, but put out this video anyway, which kind of damages your credibility as a reviewer. I think another pretty notable red flag from beat 'em ups around this time was him completely flipping on his take on Mario Kart World, despite the fact he called it too expensive earlier.
Is it worth $80? Worth it just because it's a really fun Nintendo game and it's the launch title and you're gonna want to play it with your friends.
This kind of flip-flopping between takes became unfortunately very prevalent going forward.
No shit. And Digital Foundry, like their video after that was just, it just tells you they don't really have any criticism. They just want to be liked, right? Instead of being right or having their own opinion. All too common on the internet, all too common.
On Beat 'em Up's channel, and it still continues to this day, as you can see with 2 of his most recent videos. Just when you think he's setting up a spot for actual discourse surrounding Nintendo, he'll immediately go back on that and act like everything's perfectly fine and there's nothing wrong with Nintendo at all. It is completely spineless, and unfortunately all these Nintendo shills seem to do that. Nintendo Prime, Switch Force, and plenty of others also adopt this exact kind of method of video making, unfortunately not really offering Nintendo any actual criticism, but simply making almost daily videos just about the company and usually bolstering it up in the most shallow way. Obviously, I have no real problem with these people as people, they all seem relatively nice and generally pretty chill too. My only problem is that a lot of their commentary just comes off as very shallow and not really any kind of actual nuanced, fair, all-around criticism of Nintendo as a company. If you want to be a real critic, you have to look at things with more nuance. By definition, not everything is always automatically good all the time. Sometimes maybe a good situation has a bit of a bad twist to it, or maybe a bad situation has a good twist to it. But when your content is just saying everything is always good, that's not real criticism. There admittedly also is the other end of that.
Well, it becomes the same thing that we've seen with like journalism and stuff like that. They want access to the stuff. They want to get access to the games. They want their audience to keep watching. So they're going to, you know, what the heck? Oh, a bug. I'm going to catch bugs. They're going to keep with the side that's making the money. They're not going to change. Pickaxe, nice. What they're doing and risk their accounts.
Too, which is just as much of a problem, which we'll get into shortly. The last thing I do think is worth bringing up about beat 'em up specifically though, before I end off this section, is that it's probably worth bringing up his big social experiment controversy from a few months ago. Essentially, what happened during this experiment is that beat 'em ups planted what he called a fake seed for a leak about a Nintendo Direct happening in July, back on a podcast they debuted in June. Now, beat 'em ups is not really known for having insider information at all, and not really dropping leaks at all in any of his content. As he himself claims, dropping this fake leak during a podcast was actually part of his goal for a social experiment he was doing, supposedly. In his words specifically, he wanted to do content in the vein of somebody like Danny Gonzalez or Eddie Burback, and plant this false idea of a leak out there to see just how much the media would run with it and how much of a confirmation bias there would be so he could do a social experiment on that. The problem was, of course, since Beat'em is the biggest YouTuber that covers almost exclusively Nintendo hardware and software, pretty much every social media outlet took this rumor and it spread all over the internet. So inevitably, because of this, when Beat'em actually did reveal he had just faked the thing the whole time for a social experiment, most people just looked at it face value and saw that, yeah, he lied, which he did, and he does admit that, to be fair. But obviously the fact he admitted it does not change the fact he did it, and also the way he explained it in his video came off as very hand-wavy, with him attempting to explain the psychology behind confirmation bias, but also not really understanding this himself. There's a very good video here from the Artsy Gamer where she goes over all the different flaws in Wood's presentation of the psychology that I definitely recommend you check out. In general though, Nintendo shills represent one end of the problem when it comes to there being any sort of real criticism of Nintendo out there. Rather than actually looking at the company as a whole with any nuance, they seem to be only interested in discussing good news. And they seem unwilling to discuss both the bad and the good of various situations involving Nintendo. But on the other side of this, we have the opposite end of the problem, that being the Nintendo grifters. The Nintendo grifters actually are the more prevalent group out there currently, and definitely the more obnoxious one as well. As you can probably imagine, they represent the exact opposite kind of issue that the Nintendo shills do. Whereas the Nintendo shills' main priority is only focusing on good news, and even when they do bring up bad news, they'll automatically backpedal on that by bringing up good news and acting like everything is okay. The grifters, of course, only care about bad news and capitalizing off of that hate. They will sometimes put out almost daily videos providing the most shallow, lackluster takes, just crapping on Nintendo. And there are absolutely things to call out Nintendo for, but for some reason, none of these channels actually seem to be aware of what the real issues are, and also don't approach anything with any real nuance whatsoever. Perhaps one of the most notable Nintendo grifters is none other than Lord Frogmire, who just so happens to be the brother of Synthetic.
What a name. I don't know who this guy is. But then again, like I said, I don't follow Nintendo drama because that's just not something I am interested in whatsoever. It's overpriced. Their shills are fanatic and will give Nintendo all of their money if asked. And that's about as far as it goes.
Man, who I've actually covered here before on the channel. Synthetic Man himself is already a very notorious presence in the gaming space overall on YouTube, given, well, literally everything about him.
This is complete embarrassing slop. I don't care if he worked as a social worker once upon a time and witnessed a lot of abusive fathers who beat their wives and their children. This story is encouraging Japanese people not to get married or to have kids.
What?
Are you fucking dumb?
Yes! So, with somebody as charming of a personality as that, you can just imagine how delightful his brother probably is.
Dude, I love some of the takes that some of these, like, obscure guys come up with. Like, it's encouraging people not to get married. I'm like, what? Who said that? Where are you getting that from?
And you guessed it, Lord Frogmire's content is essentially just all the same anti-woke rage bait content that his brother makes, just simply about—
You're right, I'm sorry. Synth isn't that obscure. So... maybe he's just one of the special ones, I guess.
Nintendo games instead of gaming overall. And once again, while there are absolutely things you can criticize Nintendo for, Lord Frogmire unfortunately seems incapable of doing that or offering any real criticism about the company or its games whatsoever. I think actually a very good example of this is his video where he talks about how he thinks Breath of the Wild ruined Nintendo and the Switch too. Let's see what he had to say.
It's about pattern recognition. It's noticing that Nintendo has been walking down.
We love pattern recognition here. Pattern recognition fails so many people on the internet.
A path, starting with Breath of the Wild, that has slowly eroded the last positive quality Nintendo has left, which is good, innovative games. Innovation which they have given up on so that they can better emulate Breath of the Wild. Mario Kart needs an open world. Metroid Prime 4 has a giant open empty desert, not because it's a new innovative direction for the series, but because it makes the games more similar to Breath of the Wild, the best-selling Zelda game of all time.
Now, while while Breath of the Wild undeniably was a very influential game and also a huge turning point for the Zelda series and just a big deal for Nintendo overall, it doesn't really make any sense to blame Breath of the Wild for the shortcomings of Mario Kart World in Metroid Prime 4. Sure, all three games do have open worlds in them, but open world games have existed for a long time, even before Breath of the Wild. With Mario Kart World, open world racing games have also existed for a pretty long time at this point too, especially looking at things like the Forza Horizon series. So it doesn't really make any sense at all to claim that Zelda Breath of the Wild is the reason why Metroid Prime 4 and Mario Kart World have open worlds.
And it's not close. 34 million copies. And if that doesn't sound like a lot, Skyward Sword, the Zelda game for the Wii, one of the most popular consoles of all time, sold less than 8 million copies. To call Breath of the Wild a success is an understatement. It's the kind of success that a developer may think, wow, we made a really great game here, but corporate looks at it and says, why are we making these games?
Looks like Billy and Smash corrected an error and pointed out, I pointed out on the store page, the 3-pack page said you were only getting one bottle. Oh, God. Yeah, I saw he was having to sell them in 3-packs over there. Buy 2, get 1 free. A sauce you might actually like. Oh, goodness. You know, I was hearing things about, some of the other sauces, because I've never really looked into the sauces. I know people like Nick DiOrio have been on it, and, the more famous one, the Carl sauce, sold out. But apparently even Nick DiOrio's sold out his on, like, the first day. But we're several days in, and Smash apparently still hasn't sold out on his sauce.
That don't sell well when we could just make more Breath of the Wilds.
Wait, what? What do you mean games that haven't sold well? Nintendo has produced plenty of games that have sold very well even since the release of Breath of the Wild that aren't even open world at all.
Yes,
Luigi's Mansion 3.
$60 for sauce is like nuts. All 3 sauces are the same. It's just one of the 3 isn't a signed bottle. All the other one had 3-pack deals also. Okay, maybe I'm just hating on it. I'll back it up. Damaged. Maybe I'm just hating on it. Okay, now I can push this. Now we can push this. Why? Push the wagon, raise the banner. How do I push? Oh, I guess I push it this way probably, huh? Yeah, they probably want me to push it under that cart. There we go. You can get sriracha for below $10. Yes, you can. You can get just about any sauce for under $10. All right.
Is not an open world game, but that sold over 14 million copies. Mario Odyssey, which is more of a 3D sandbox game than a traditional open world game, sold over 30 million copies. Animal Crossing New Horizons sold over 49 million copies. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate sold over 37 million copies. And funny enough, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is a traditional Mario Kart game that doesn't have an open world in it, sold over 70 million copies. For some reason, Lord Frogmire seems to think that Nintendo including an open world in their game is a method to drive sales, when really that's pretty clearly not the case at all, since many of their successful games don't even have an open world in it. Nintendo is pretty clearly not just introducing open worlds into their games to try to drive sales, so it doesn't really make any sense at all for him to claim this. Especially with Mario Kart, given the fact the last Mario Kart game became easily the best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch without an open world in sight. Again, that pretty clearly isn't Nintendo's mindset here, given the fact they still produce games that sell tens of millions of copies that don't have an open world in them at all. Like I just said previously, most of the best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch don't even have an open world in them. This pretty clearly isn't Nintendo's strategy at all, but for some reason Lord Frogmire seems to think it is. But
well, I mean, when you come to this kind of like to me this is just the same normal discourse you see with anti-woke grifters. these are just Nintendo based ones, is it's never about the truth. It's never about what's actually happening. It always has to be doom and gloom. Everything is failing. The gaming industry is falling apart. Even then, when they're talking about some of the really big companies and things like that, like they're saying, oh well, you know, so and so company is going to crash, but it's like it's $1 billion company. That's not really how any of that works. Oh, is this cooking mechanics?
Given the fact his brother is this guy, I can't say I'm too surprised at all.
That is easier to emulate than it is to innovate. To just copy what they already did and bring that success to every other Nintendo franchise. The problem is, Breath of the Wild is not good because it's the greatest game ever made. It didn't sell a bajillion copies because it has the best world design, or the best mechanics, or the best combat. It was great because it was something new and interesting. The exploring Hyrule had never felt like this before. But Nintendo does not agree with me. That is not why they think the game succeeded. Their actions have made it clear that they think Breath of the Wild succeeded because open world games appeal to the wider audience, and they have perfected the open world on their first try. And this belief
Where is the modern audience?
has already ruined multiple Zelda games and will ruin the entire Switch 2's library if they continue down this path.
What exactly do you mean by ruin the franchise? If you mean that every Zelda game is like Breath of the Wild that came out afterward, that's technically not true. Both the Link's Awakening remake and also Zelda Echoes of Wisdom are more in line with classic Zelda than the Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild open world style. Trying to make the insinuation that every single Zelda game that came after Breath of the Wild is just like that, or that Breath of the Wild somehow ruined the other Zelda games, doesn't really make any sense either. In general, most of Lord Frogmire's content is exactly like this, often taking an overly negative slant at something Nintendo.
That's just straight anti-woke thumbnails
Related. But instead of offering any real criticism about the company or its games, he instead just provides a bunch of pointless nitpicks that are often overly negative and sometimes don't even make any sense, like I just pointed out here. Him attempting to make the claim that Breath of the Wild ruined Nintendo and that Nintendo is trying to make every single one of its franchises open world for sales is something that is so easily debunkable it's absurd. Lord Frogmire is really just as bad and easily felted as his brother. Another person that's pretty prevalent in the Nintendo grifter space that's definitely worth calling out is also real-life Fake Wizard. This guy is one that I've actually...
This guy is like new and upcoming one. I think he just hit 100K, but I haven't really watched any of his content.
Personally avoided covering on the channel for quite a bit now, since he's honestly one of the biggest rage baiters in the online discourse space in general. Most of his videos are him making very intentionally insane claims, like trying to claim Pixar's Hopper was a Disney movie meant to indoctrinate kids. Or him also trying to make the claim that video games are not made for men anymore. Wow, trying to keep up the Gamergate 2.0 grift, I see. This guy's pretty blatantly shallow and also makes a ton of these very clickbaity, inflammatory videos that don't offer a lot of substance or real critique whatsoever. And he obviously is very aware of this and likely doesn't actually believe most of the stuff he says. He just says it because it gets clicks and easy attention, which of course is essentially the textbook definition of a grifter. It's also very funny because I've ratioed him on Twitter before for him apparently thinking I'm a Disney shill, despite the fact one of my highest viewed videos is me criticizing Disney's live-action Lilo and Stitch for being a shallow retreading of the original that directly went against the message of the original film as well. Yes, clearly
I'll say one thing about Noah is Noah has a little bit of an ego. Like, I really don't care about ratios. I don't think anyone really should, but to each his own, I guess.
A Disney shill ready to gulp up any slop the company puts out. I think the interesting thing about Wizard's discussions of Nintendo, though, is how he'll often intentionally try to utilize Nintendo as a brand in some of its games to meet his own political ideology. Or in some cases, just intentionally try to gatekeep people he doesn't like from fandoms he's a part of. A good example of this actually is his video called Video Games Are Not For Men Anymore, where he does bring up Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and also Animal Crossing New Horizons. He does bring up a lot of other games too, since this entire video is essentially him trying to gatekeep women from gaming overall. Oh boy, let's see what he had to say.
Hello, I'm the real-life Fake Wizard. A research and consulting firm called Ampere Analysis just presented a study claiming that female players are, quote, an overlooked opportunity for growth in the gaming industry. Their senior analyst, Katie Holt, stood up at a conference and told a room full of executives that women make up 48% of all gamers, that the industry is leaving money on the table, and that studios should be developing new types of content, including romance, lifestyle, cooking, travel, and fashion-themed games paired with puzzle and simulation games in order to attract women.
It's funny that he has this I gotta watch this guy's content now. We got to see what's going on. It's funny that he mentions, like, he shows this in the background. This is a very successful game that I even played with my daughter. I've got to finish it with my daughter. That's a reminder to myself. It's yes, it's a market that could be tapped into, right? Like, they tried to back in the day with things like Barbie, Playland, whatever, but it's never really something that's been put into. You can make both games.
Who do not currently play any video games at all.
Okay, first of all, I love that he pulls in Endymion and shows this person's full name and face, and also intentionally says, Katie stood up in a conference room full of executives and told them that 48% of gamers are women. While it's not as on the nose as Endymion, it's pretty obvious he's taking the same tactics, putting up this woman's face and name, and specifically listing her as the person who made this statement, which obviously Wizard seems to have a very particular problem with.
Please do not harass or attack any of these people that I present. I am simply showing you evidence to strengthen the case of what I've been told. And if I mispronounce anyone's names, my bad, but firstly we have Jen Lee Lukin, a video game producer at Sucker Punch, as you can see on screen right now.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
I always love when these guys will say things like, oh, don't harass these female game developers I'm talking about, but then proceed to show their full names, social media handles, and their faces right there on screen. Incredible. In addition to this, the way he words this is inevitably very intentionally disingenuous. The article that he's reading here doesn't actually say that studios should be trying to appeal directly towards women that don't play video games. Rather, the article is just showing the existing metrics of women that play games, the kinds of games they like, and also how to bring in a potentially untapped market of women who don't play video games and get them interested in games overall. The article quite literally is not demanding that studios should be appealing to women who don't play video games. This obviously is very telling and intentional wording on Wizard's part.
Now, if you were sitting there thinking, gee, attracting females that don't play games at all, well, that sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? You're right. This is not exactly new. We've heard the data from different consulting firms, different analysts, different conferences for the better part of the last decade, maybe even more. We need more women in gaming. Women are underrepresented. Women make up half of the gaming populace now. And all of those claims are coming from people who are not giving you the full picture, and they're coming from a place of bias and prerogative.
Gee, that sure is a bold claim coming from the guy who made 3 different videos with thumbnails blatantly shilling for Charlie Kirk of all people, complained that the live-action One Piece was quote-unquote pushing something onto its audience.
If anyone is going to change the story, I'd rather have it be the dude who made the story than a boardroom of idiot executives pushing something onto audiences, you know?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Has claimed the upcoming Masters of the Universe movie will bomb before the movie has even come out, and also try to act like Ghost of Yote didn't sell well when, yes, in fact, the game did sell well. Clearly, the only biased one here is real-life fake Wizard.
Every single time a studio has taken those claims seriously, the results have been catastrophic. Not for the consulting firm, of course. They got paid and they get to sail into the sunset to spread more divisive rhetoric.
Inevitably, Wizard is going back to the old Sweet Baby Inc. type conspiracy theory. The truth is, consulting firms don't actually have anything directly to do with a game's development. The development of characters and stories for a video game still falls upon the game studio itself. Consulting firms like Sweet Baby Inc., for instance, really only exist to give feedback and don't actually have any direct involvement in the games themselves. If Wizard was actually knowledgeable about the gaming industry, he'd probably know this, but obviously he pretty clearly doesn't.
But for the studios, the developers, and the actual paying customers, they'll watch franchises get dismantled in pursuit of an audience that doesn't exist. The data reported by Ampere Analysis is troubling. There is evidence of sexism for both men and women in this data, and should any executive take this information seriously?
Dude, all of these guys just sound, I've said this before, they just sound like SJWs. It's sexist towards men now. Like, come on, bud. Let's be real here. It's just, what's going on, money? Oh, yeah, I'm back. I am back. I've killed my channel by leaving for 3 weeks, but we're going to build it back up and get back to it. Thank you. But man, these guys are just like, they whine about the exact same things that I'm gonna have to like load back in. I just fucked this all up. Can I move on to another quest, or is it gonna make me? Is this a main quest? I'm already fucking up. It's the same shit, but it's from a different side. Like I don't even know. Let's go with this one. Like I don't even know how people don't see through this. It's why I think there's more and more people making fun of these guys every day.
It paints a picture where there will be even fewer,
or at least people who don't want to deal with it, right? Your normal average person didn't want to deal with the wokies or the SJWs when that SJW shit was going on. And the average person doesn't want to deal with these retards either and all the shit that they come up with.
fewer new video games that are made for men.
Okay, two major things wrong there with Wizard's statement. Wizard attempts to claim that there's sexism for both women and men in this data when really it doesn't look like that's happening at all. The data is just observing what video games tend to be played by women more, such as Animal Crossing, The Sims 4, and Roblox, which are all
what a surprise, like family games, cozy games. Yeah, that sounds like there's already a market for female games. But they want to believe that this is like they're taking over our games. We have to gatekeep people that we can't even see or do anything about.
Documented to have more female players than male ones, and determining how they can appeal to more women to get them interested in the hobby as well and be able to market to them further. This is literally just a demographic study. There's nothing sexist about this. It's also ironic because right after saying this, Wizard shows us his own sexism by talking about games made for men. Now, while there are plenty of video games out there that are at least likely targeted towards a male audience, just like any facet of the entertainment industry, games are not just made exclusively for men. Games can easily be enjoyed by both men and women, regardless of who the primary demographic might be. And games have been enjoyed by both men and women ever since the industry started to begin with. So already, Wizard is inevitably already showing us the errors in his thinking by talking about games exclusively made for men. But given everything else I've already pointed out to you about this guy's content, I imagine you probably can't expect much better from Great Value Gandalf here.
It sounds like near parity, doesn't it? Great. It sounds like men and women play games in almost equal numbers. Well, let me tell you what the number actually means. That 48% includes everyone. Every single person who plays anything on any device. Your aunt playing Candy Crush on her iPad while watching Jeopardy, she's in that number. Your mom playing Royal Match on her phone during her lunch break, she's in that number. Is someone who downloaded Wordle once in 2022 and forgot about it? They're probably in that number. These are counted the same as someone who put 2,000 hours into Elden.
What's funny is they say this, but he's actually not showing any of the proof that that's what the number is. There is a thing where I think he is like right, they're counting all games as gamers, and sure, but they're still showing that there is a female market out there, right? Because a lot of the games that women play are either really simple games on phones, or they're like cozy little happy games. So I get what he's trying to say, but if you're going to say it, put proof on the well. And then there's, like I said, there's already a market for women. And Noah's right. Women play all sorts of games. Women have been playing games forever. I played 007 with my sister. She was a big WoW player where I wasn't. There's there's this discourse where these guys think they have, like, I don't know, they were the only ones gaming in their dark little holes, but I don't know, like, you have to come out of your closet and realize, hey, there's a bigger gaming world out there.
Ring or plays high guard every single
It just sounds like a ball and gun gamer.
night after work.
Well, oh mighty mock-up mage, since you seem so confident in that claim, why don't you tell us how exactly you came across that? I love how he makes the pretty big claim that people that don't normally play video games, or people that largely play mobile games and only on occasion, are also included in the study, but he doesn't show any evidence at all of this. He just expects his audience to believe it right away, which, to be fair, knowing them, they probably would. It's a good thing I'm here then to smoke out the bullcrap from our favorite bearded bozo.
When respondents were given a list of 52 console and PC games, only 3 games had more female players than male: Animal Crossing, The Sims 4, and Roblox. That's it! On mobile, 13 out of 50 games skewed female. So the data is actually
Do you see that? What, like, how retarded he is in reading that information? I have to watch this guy's videos. We're gonna start watching more anti-woke content on here, and just straight anti-woke content. I'm going back to where I was. I mean, we're still gonna watch stuff like Tectone and things like that, but I got to look at these guys and really start breaking them down again to who they are, where they came from, like I did with Smash. Yeah, they're saying that those games are the only ones that more women play than male players. That doesn't mean there's not women playing all the other games. And out of the mobile games, 13 had more females. I actually follow the Wizard guy on Twitter. He's kind of a mix of Dr. Disaster and SmashJT. Ooh, I kind of like that combination. Well, I don't really watch, like, Dr. Disaster is like low tier, like low IQ group. You don't even see him that much outside of, like, occasionally Smash will give him a little a little nod and be like, "Oh, good job, Dr. Disaster."
telling you that women are overwhelmingly concentrated in mobile and casual gaming, which is a market that already exists alive and well and is already being served by thousands of games and billions of dollars in revenue.
Funny enough, this actually is disproven by what is said later in the article. Later on in the article, Holt discusses how women often are playing online games, but just aren't using voice chat due to toxicity. This can, at times, lead to the inaccurate misconception that women aren't playing these kinds of games, which is exactly why it wasn't included in the above study. Funny that Wizard pretty conveniently left that part of the article out of his video here.
Yeah. I've talked about things like this before on this channel. These analytics firms lump mobile gaming in with console and PC, and then act shocked when the demographics look different.
But you talked about 3 games that were PC and console games. Roblox is very clearly PC, whether you like Roblox or not. The other 2 are, one's Nintendo, the other is PC.
Than what publishers see in their actual sales data. Female Candy Crush players who spend their afternoons going to brunch with the gals and then go home and watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians are not in the same bucket as the sweaty pro gamer who's been playing World of Warcraft for 19 years.
Ah yes, and clearly you're not the sexist one here, right, Wizard? Clearly all female gamers are going to brunch with the gals and watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Clearly you're not assigning narrowly specific stereotypes to one sex whatsoever.
And then we get to the genre recommendations. A little condescending with this one.
Ah yes, and clearly you weren't being condescending at all by talking about Keeping Up with the Kardashians and taking the gals to brunch. The absolute hypocrisy is unreal here.
The thing with these studies is I already went on one back a while ago. There was a study going around that's saying, like, women prefer sexy female characters, but when you read the study, one, it's only based off of fighting games, which tend to have the more overly sexualized characters, and then 2, a lot of the women in the study said they were looking for someone who represented them, and if there wasn't somebody that represented with them, they chose the stronger looking character to match with the fighting style.
Overall, it's pretty clear Wizard only made this video because he wants to, for some reason, gatekeep women that could possibly be interested in gaming from getting into the hobby whatsoever. His form of grifting involving Nintendo is definitely a little different than the others we've discussed here, since he was more interested in bringing up a game like
Noah Tismed out there, not understanding the nuance that he's not dismissing them for being female, but because of the games that group of females play. Noah Tismed out there, not understanding the nuance that he was not dismissing them for being female, but because of the games that groups of females play. Okay, I get what you're saying there. I still think with what's being said, let's go back and listen to it again, because the whole like sexism thing, I don't give a shit about. Right? To me, that's like low. It's usually overblown.
That women aren't playing these kinds of games, which is exactly why it wasn't included in the above study. Funny that Wizard pretty conveniently left that part of the article out of his video.
Casuals are normies.
I've talked about things like this before.
Casuals are normies who really don't get into gaming that much, kind of like how the UK, I barely consider the FIFA players gamers. Oh yeah. I mean, you get into like the ball and game, gun gamers. There's the problem is there's this huge audience of normie gamers that play 2 to 3 games a year, and they're going to play their favorite. They play FIFA and nothing but FIFA. I mean, you have people that do that here in the United States, and it's NFL and nothing but NFL. They may pick up a Call of Duty from time to time, or if it's Call of Duty, they play Call of Duty and nothing other than Call of Duty. There's usually like people don't have a lot of leeway. It's why so many live services end up failing, because people have the live service they want to play. You now have to split your money between 2 live services. You're going to go with the one that's your favorite. You're trying to beat markets out that are already saturated and already have, a main competitor in it. So yeah, but when either of them are talking about like the normal gamer, those are the guys they're talking about. Like, yeah, they bought their Assassin's Creed game because it came out, but they still only play their same 2 or 3 games. I mean, I'm, I consider myself more casual than most, mostly because, I have a family, so I can only do so much gaming at a time. But I still buy more games than most people do. And even then, I always go to my favorite games like not Skyrim, RimWorld, or Dwarf Fortress or something like that. So the problem is all these guys think they're hardcore gamers, and they're really not, just because people are giving you games and you're playing a couple of them doesn't mean you're like the hardcore gamers. And the hardcore gamers are not the majority.
Before on this channel, these analytics firms lump mobile gaming in with console and PC and then act shocked when the demographics look different than what publishers see in their actual sales data. Female Candy Crush players who spend their afternoons going to brunch with the gals and then go home and watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians are not in the same bucket as the sweaty pro gamer who's been playing World of Warcraft for 19 years.
Ah yes, and clearly you're not the sexist one here, right, Wizard? Clearly all female gamers are going to brunch with the gals and watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Clearly you're not assigning narrowly specific stereotypes to one sex whatsoever.
And then we get to the genre recommendations. A little condescending with this one.
Ah yes, and clearly you weren't being condescending at all by talking about Keeping Up with the Kardashians and taking the gals to brunch. The absolute hypocrisy is unreal here. Overall, it's pretty clear Wizard only made this video because he wants to, for some reason, gatekeep women that could possibly be interested in gaming from getting into the hobby whatsoever. His form of grifting involving Nintendo is definitely a little different than the others we've discussed here, since he was more interested in bringing up a game like Animal Crossing New Horizons and acting like because because it was one of the only console games listed in the study where women outnumber male players, clearly it means that studios shouldn't be looking to get more women into gaming, even though that really makes no sense whatsoever. And even outside of Lord Frogmire and the Sham Sorcerer, there are so many other Nintendo grifters out there currently, given the fact it's a very lucrative thing to grift off right now. And yes, both Lord Frogmire and Real Life Fake Wizard do fit the definition of grifter, especially in the videos I just showed. Both of them do present a false quote-unquote issue or problem, since in Lord Frogmire's case, he tries to make the claim that Breath of the Wild ruined Nintendo, and now Nintendo is putting a bunch of open world elements in its games to chase sales. Even though, as I showed earlier, that claim makes absolutely no sense. And also, as we saw earlier, Real Life Fake Wizard tried to make the claim that a random study that just so happened to feature Animal Crossing in it and detailing that more female players than male players play that game was completely sexist and also contributing to men not getting games made for them. Even though, like I also showed earlier, this doesn't really make any sense at all either. Yeah. Both of these...
Like, there's so many games that... there's even men that like, you know, Animal Crossing. You know, and cozy games. You can't deny that. But there's so many genres of games out there that, like they said, are the more male-covered games. But the problem is none of these guys actually care about, like, genres or what people care about playing. They only care to try and keep pushing this idea that women are moving into their gaming to change everything. And it's like, what are you talking about? We get games constantly, indie games especially. Why is my thing not working? Oh, it's because it's this way. Boop. It's just it's the same retardation like with SmashJT. I'd have to look into this wizard's history to see what's going on. I know he's fairly new, so he might not have a lot of it. I'm always hesitant to call someone a grifter because it's just so easy to defend. None of their patrons are gonna give a shit that you call them a grifter.
People created a false problem and also a false solution to go with it in the hopes of selling this to their audience, which of course is the definition of grifting. If you want to know more about how grifters are generally defined, I recommend checking out this video from Anthony Gramuglia that goes in pretty good detail about it. And in terms of Nintendo grifters specifically, there are definitely a lot of them out there, unfortunately. Funny enough, there actually was a video done recently solely on Nintendo grifters from the channel Nintenmity that I actually recommend checking out, since it's very well done, very well edited, and it does a relatively good job going over different Nintendo grifters and also names more than I really care to look at for this video. And also, unfortunately for Nintenmity, his video also got brigaded by the exact kind of people he was talking about, so definitely go subscribe to him. His content is generally pretty professional, very well put together, and also has really good editing too, so definitely go check him out. However, the one criticism I would actually have of this video specifically is that I think he goes way too soft on Nintendine. Now, for those who may not know, along with Lord Frogmire, Nintendine is probably the most notorious Nintendo grifter. His channel originally, funny enough, was full of retrospective content for various Nintendo games. He did retrospectives on things like the Mario Party games, the Donkey Kong Country games, some Sonic games, all the 3D Marios, and plenty more. But around the time of the Switch 2 reveal, he ended up doing a video called I'm Not Buying the Switch 2. And this video ended up doing very well, to the point that all of Nintendine's content going forward would be hate content about Nintendo. Right away, even just doing a quick scroll through his channel, you can see that a lot of these are just grasping at straws sometimes, or just trying to find some kind of topic to hate on Nintendo with. And like I said before, Nintendo absolutely deserves criticism for the things they do. But when you are making almost daily content just hating on Nintendo and highlighting negative things with them with almost no nuance whatsoever.
Even in a lot of things with these guys, it's becoming so much that they're not even looking for woke games anymore. They're looking for any small controversy that they can blow out of proportion and call it DEI, woke, whatever, you know, comment they want to call it at that time. So you look at something like Marathon, and I think Marathon had a lot of trouble with its initial controversies, right? Which wasn't woke. There's nothing woke about Marathon. And then the launch, it seems like, talking to people who have played, it seems like there is a pretty steep learning curve to getting into the game and learning how the game works and functions and liking it, right? Will Marathon last? I don't know. It seems like unless you make a banger of a live service, you're not going to be, you're not going to make it very far, especially in the more saturated markets, right? And I hate to say it, but something like Ark appeals more to the average gamer because the PvE mode is more significant. I mean, you still see people crying and complaining about rats to this day, which is like a natural part of extraction shooters. But because it's so PvE based that you may never run into anyone, I think they have a bigger audience for it. Even though there seems to be some problems with like the new enemies not being all that interesting. Like they have a new big boss coming out, but is it just going to be another queen, or is it going to be something else? Marius, can you get on board? Can I pick you up? Or are we just going to walk? Like, where are we going? How far are we going? What's going on here? Oh, yeah, we're going far. All right.
And especially given your content used to be Nintendo retrospective videos, people are likely to question your credibility and where exactly you're getting your sources on these different hate stories. Or really why you're making them to begin with. Now, to give Nintendo credit, he has actually been on a bit of a YouTube break, and he actually did put up a poll recently on his channel asking if he should bring retrospectives back. Given the fact he made a lot of retrospectives in the past, I would actually be curious to see this myself, since it does seem like something he's very passionate about. But definitely the big quick turnaround that you can see from him making retrospectives to Nintendo hate content does technically label him as a grifter just because of that. Unfortunately, with how things currently are, I think both the grifters and the shills represent two extremes that have almost completely made Nintendo criticism that's actually fair and nuanced go extinct. It's like I'm stuck between Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and neither of them are giving me any real criticism about Nintendo, and instead are just overly glazing it or overly hating on it. I feel like, especially in recent years, this has been a big problem when it comes to Nintendo discourse on YouTube. If you really want to give fair criticism of Nintendo, you must look at the good and the bad, and really go over all of that in detail. Now, I do want to list a few creators here that I think actually do a good job with this sort of thing, and actually give fair criticism to Nintendo in my opinion. I think one of the biggest channels that also does do the best at this as well is none other than Arlo. I think Arlo actually has been consistently pretty good at looking at both the good and the bad of Nintendo. He won't just lean into one extreme and be a shill overly glazing the company, or lean into the other extreme overly hating on it either. He actually does look fairly at every facet of every situation with Nintendo he covers, and that's something I really appreciate about him. In general, I feel like it's very hard to find actual fair critics when it comes to Nintendo like Arlo in this day and age. There is just so much on either end of the extreme, and it really frustrates me personally, given the fact I think Nintendo absolutely is a company that could use some fair criticism. But when you just have two extreme sides of it, you can't really get any real criticism out of that. I do hope in the future that we'll see more real criticism of Nintendo in general, but I guess only time will tell. I do think doing the Hunting Grizzly Bears video.
I don't see gaming discourse getting any better. I mean, look at everything. Everything has become so tribal. The console wars is just so fucking annoying. People, shilling for their favorite corporate overlord that they want to give money to. The anti-woke fucking mess. People who shill games versus people who criticize games in general is a mess. So I mean, this is just something that's like prolific across the entire discourse, the entire community of gaming, and I think it spreads down to like almost every facet. Maybe it's starting to even push into, because it's maybe not so much in like the indie scenes, but there are some creators that are starting to go after indies just to make their content. If you like something, you're a shill. If you hate something, you're a grifter. If you give honest criticism, you're a contrarian. Yes, good way to put it, Kamoji. Good way to put it. And it's just there's no one's actually willing to talk and about these kind of criticisms, right?
videos, however, has helped a lot more people understand how to spot a grift and also ultimately what real media criticism looks like. That's really why I started doing this series to begin with, and I'm hoping with it we can bring YouTube back to a spot where more legitimate criticism exists. Or at the very least, more people can find a way to seek out real criticism.
That's right,
so as long as y'all keep enjoying these videos and hopefully learning something from them, I'm happy to keep hunting griftly bears. But what do you think? Am I wrong? Am I a gay woke furry? Let me know in the comments below. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video or learned something new from it. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a like and also consider subscribing as well. I do lots of videos like this overall, often talking about film, animation, gaming, and things like that, so if you like this video, you'll probably like the other videos I have planned as well. I am currently working on a much bigger video talking about Jello Apocalypse and why I personally think he damaged a lot of the media criticism space on YouTube as well. And I've also got some more videos about autism representation and also film in the works too. If you'd like to hang out with like-minded film and animation fans, feel free to join my Discord as well. It's linked down in the description.
So that's Otterly Noah. You know, go like and subscribe to him. He makes good videos, as always. There we go. Why is it not? Come on, mouse. Did my mouse just die on me? Or is it because this video is playing? There we go. There we go. Let's see here. So that one was Noah, you know, talking about the grifters and things like that. The next video we're going to talk about is going to be Smash and the AI bubble has popped. This interests me and I just want to watch it because I've been watching like AI in pretty closely, like economists and different people talking about it. Like I didn't even know about the original chip mafia that existed, that was, you know, the government called out, and of course all they did was charge a little bit of money and all the people involved got away with it. But I want to see what his take is, because he's been such an AI shill, right? The guy uses ChatGPT like there's no tomorrow for his court cases. He does those stupid I made her more beautiful tweets, you know, just dumb, low-brained thing where AI is going to change everything. It's so amazing. So I wanted to see what he has when Sora, what he has to say about Sora closing down.
Is falling apart, and it's not just OpenAI, it's their part of their company Sora.
AI is now falling apart. Okay, this already sounds like a complete change.
Is saying goodbye. Drama Alert says OpenAI is killing Sora off for the public. Are they going broke? And a screenshot of their comment here is from their post on X saying, "We're saying goodbye to the Sora app. To everyone who created with Sora, shared it, and built community around it, thank you. What you made with Sora mattered, and we know this news is disappointing. We'll share more soon, including timelines for the app and API and details on preserving your work, the Sora team." And if you're not familiar with Sora, by the way, Ricky Berwick pretty much made it famous with all the AI videos. What ended up happening with Sora, from my own personal experience with it, it was way too convoluted, expensive, confusing. The tokens you had to buy, how often you were allowed to use it, how much
that's how all these AI things work. Like ChatGPT, sure, is the other one, but they're trying to make money where they're not making money. Like I don't think that was as much as the problem as everything else around it that's happening.
Time you could use for it. Grok came in and just destroyed it.
No.
With Elon Musk and X pushing forward with their own version of making videos for far more affordable prices. Damon Player says OpenAI just killed Sora. CEO Sam Altman announced the changes to staff on Tuesday, writing that the company would wind down products that use its video models. In addition to the consumer app, OpenAI is also discontinuing a version of Sora for developers and won't support video functionality inside ChatGPT either. OpenAI is in the middle of a strategy shift to redirect the company's computing resources and top talent towards so-called productivity tools that can be used by both enterprises and individual users. Last week, OpenAI...
Here's the thing. It's not Grok causing this kind of issue. OpenAI has been burning money since they came out of their far more affordable prices for now, right? But yeah, even then, like it's burning money. You can't tell me that Elon is making more money off of it than Sora was. They're getting to the point now that they have to find something to make money off of. That's why Nvidia is pushing this AI garbage off as DLSS 5. Is because no one's buying this shit. No one wants to use it. It's not actually making businesses better. It's not more efficient. They're all like all the jobs that have been taken over by AI have failed, and they had to rehire humans, foreign humans for cheaper, mind you, to do what the AI is doing. So just from shilling one to another, right?
I announced that it was combining its ChatGPT desktop app, coding tool Codex, and browser into one super app. The company expects the consolidated product to align its employees around a single vision. Maybe, but I gotta be honest, guys, from what I'm seeing, it feels like the winding down of these AI video models speaks to a much larger issue going on worldwide.
Okay. Let's see what he says here.
Right now, and the AI bubble might be bursting. Disclose TV. Justin, OpenAI will discontinue public access to Sora and will not support video features in ChatGPT.
You just read that.
Opting to wind down products that use its videos models from Wall Street Journal. And then we got Variety. On top of all that, OpenAI pulling the plug on Sora may have been a blessing in disguise for Disney. While Bob Iger likely saw a major upside, fans weren't exactly eager to see the Avengers or Frozen characters filtered through generative AI tools. Internally, some Disney execs feared the deal could risk its IP turned into AI-generated slop, per sources. Hollywood unions were already pushing back, with the WGA warning the partnership would cede the value.
It's so funny because this is the shit that the artist community has been saying forever, since the start of all this. It looks like slop. It doesn't look good. No one, is going to want to watch it. People's IPs and movies and things like that are going to get worse. These executives are just now starting to realize it. And I think part of it is that these executives have no connection to what people actually want. They're just, this is the new good thing. Let's do that. While companies like Nvidia are basically lying to them about what's going on. Oracle is the other one that's paying a shit ton of money out for this to work. And they're probably going to crash under it.
Value of what we create to a tech company. So they were afraid of the future. I feel like they're getting pretty desperate right now. Polymarket, Justin, OpenAI reportedly offering private equity firms a guaranteed minimum return of 17.5% in push to raise fresh capital. That doesn't sound like a company that's extremely confident in their growth plans. That sounds like,
dude, that's the way it's been this whole time. They're always, this has been an endless thing of capital. Like they're
desperation. Emerald Apple.
Thank you, Kimoji. Thank you. Jesus. So anyway, what I was saying is this whole thing has been capital the whole time. Like there's no real money getting exchanged with anybody. These companies that want to build that are trying to make money off of building the data centers are going to open an AI and saying, hey, I can build you a data center. Then they're going to the bank and saying, hey, guess what? OpenAI is going to pay me to build the data center. Give me money to build the data center. And then none of the data centers are getting built.
OpenAI is beyond desperate now. There is no such thing as guaranteed minimum return of any number. And if it smells like BS, it is. Two big firms, which include Thoma Bravo, walked away saying the economics, flexibility, and long-term profit profile didn't pencil out. It is a legal contract inside a brand new joint venture backed by expected revenue from the very deployments that the deal creates. So yeah, it just sounds like a Ponzi scheme, just not really legally one. This scheme is about as dirty as you can get without it going into illegal territory. This means OpenAI is getting desperate for new capital. Need it now more than getting it on more fair terms. Sketch to the max. Zero Hedge. Disney exiting deal it signed with OpenAI. Hollywood Reporter. I wonder what made Disney pull the plug on the OpenAI deal. Share the news. Disney paid $1 billion to license Mickey Mouse to a video.
This is the problem I have with trying to watch Smash videos, is all he does now is read Twitter, and he doesn't really give his own opinion about anything, right? He doesn't say, hey, this is what, is going on. Here's what I think is going on. These are the, I've looked into this, because he hasn't looked into it. He's read a couple of tweets, right? Go learn about AI, learn about how the market's going. Talk to an economist or watch an economist's video. Do something other than just read Twitter.
Video app that no longer exists.
You could also do this for your fucking games stuff, right? Not that anyone in the gaming market would actually talk to you.
AI just killed Sora. The deal is dead. The island is underwater. The Magic Kingdom scammed. This isn't innovation. This is a Ponzi scheme wearing a cape. You notice a lot of people keep coming up with that word Ponzi scheme over and over and over again. It's curious how it keeps showing up. The Bitcoin therapist, OpenAI shutting down Sora, Disney backing out of the OpenAI deal, OpenAI backlash from Pentagon deal, $11.5 billion in quarterly, not annual, quarterly losses. That's a lot to lose in a quarter. $207 billion.
Yeah, I saw something that said that AI is losing like $100 million a day or something like that, a little over $100 million a day.
Funding gap. No profitability before 2030. The bubble is bursting. The entire situation with Sora, which was created by OpenAI, text-to-video AI model, is falling apart and breaking down and being phased out right now. Grums, OpenAI cancels their Stargate AI data center. This was back March 8th, a few weeks ago. The 500 billion dream is over. Quote tweeting Tom's Hardware, OpenAI's massive Stargate data center canceled as firm can't reach terms with Oracle. Operator struggles with reliability issues. Meta said to be interested in snatching excess capacity. You notice a trend with all of this, with everything just falling apart? Lots of billions of dollars and all falling by the wayside. There's some people making a lot of money right now, crying poor all the way to the bank. And the numbers are insane.
Yeah,
CNBC, OpenAI.
Notable expert of AI Grums.
Shutters short form video app Sora as company reels in costs. OpenAI said it's closing Sora, the short form video app that went viral after its launch 6 months ago. We're saying goodbye to Sora.
Okay, he's read that same line like 4 times. This was a bad idea. Is this more? Ryan Coleman,
the future of entertainment and storyboard creation and full-fledged movies being made from it down the road. Yes, it had a long way to go, and this was, you gotta crawl before you can walk. This was just being popped out of the womb at this point, and it had a lot to reel in costs ahead of a perspective.
Okay. Looks like he may say something interesting.
I'm sure that's why they're reeling the costs in, because they want to IPO. They want it to look tantalizing. Yes, that's what it is. 6 months after launching the Sora app and seeing it quickly go viral, OpenAI is shutting the service. The company said on Tuesday, which, by the way, on a personal note, it's really sad because I feel like there was a lot of potential with Sora. I saw this app becoming like potentially the entry to the future of entertainment and storyboard creation and full-fledged movies being made from it down the road. Yes, it had a long way to go, and this was, you gotta crawl before you can walk. This was just being popped out of the womb at this point, and it had a long way to go. Maybe Grok and other alternatives will pick up the slack like it seems like it has been, but less competition in the field, I feel like is
the long way to go is like an understatement. You can't, like, none of these AI videos coming out This is the most consumer statement. Yeah, it's like none of this stuff looks good. There's not a single one out there that looks good, and there's always tons of artifacts in them. So it's not a great crafted piece of work. You may not like Hollywood or any of that, but at least it's handcrafted. Well, some things nowadays. We won't talk about like the AI enhancement of certain movies, like remakes or re-envisions. I don't even know what they were called them. Oh man. But yeah, just basic bitch statements.
It's a bad thing. They say, we're saying goodbye to Sora. To everyone who created with Sora, shared it, and built the community around it, thank you. OpenAI wrote on a post on X, which I already read earlier. While Sora proved wildly popular,
AI videos have been made by multiple stitched clips because the AI has low object permanence memory. True. And even then, it doesn't stay, like they can't get it between those clips to stay consistent with the art style. I've seen even some of the ones where they've posted the clips together to make something and it'll completely change. It forgets about objects that were in the scene. From one moment to the other. It's just, it's terrible.
popular with users hitting 1 million downloads in less than 5 days after its launch in late September, which, by the way, that was also convoluted as absolute fuck. Like when I downloaded it, yes. I couldn't figure out how to even.
Dude, the leaflet one had it went through like 30 different art styles in it, and it was just, oh, it was awful. Just awful. Let's do some. Yeah, I have that one set. There we go. Where's this one at? Is it not letting me see it yet? I guess it isn't. I guess I got to do more main story quests. Can we please watch TRGA together? TRGA, oh, the Real Game Awards. Oh god, yes, I forgot about that. All right, how about this? Tomorrow when I get on stream, I'll pull up the Real Game Awards and we can watch it together. If we got anyone who wants to come on stream and watch it with me, we'll go over it because I wanted to I want to see what that was all about. Oh goodness. Thank you, Money, for reminding me.
Utilize it, use it, sign up for stuff, buy the tokens. It was confusing, ass backwards. Some things worked, some things didn't. I'm like, this is not ready to be public.
Make me watch
OpenAI
it.
is reeling its
Eyes
costs
open.
as it seeks to justify a $730 billion valuation and set the stage for potential.
The best thing AI has made was leaflet swindling Craig. Oh god, Craig getting his comeuppance swindled by someone else and thinking that's good. Oh. Leaflet truly is something else. I did hear though that she fixed the minor problem in her Discord after being called out. Not that I think she took any accountability, but at least fixed it.
Potential IPO. OpenAI has been retreating from some hefty spending plans, shelving certain ambitious projects, and accepting its role as a purchaser of massive amounts of cloud capacity rather than as a builder of mammoth data centers. Earlier on Tuesday, OpenAI announced it would pivot away from the instant checkout shopping feature it announced last year. The company also announced plans to combine its web browser, ChatGPT app, and Codex coding app into a singular desktop super app earlier this month. Sora allowed users to generate short videos, remix videos created by other users, and post them to a shared feed. It rocketed to the top of Apple's App Store, though the initial excitement among users has since dissipated. Because it was confusing as fuck.
Yes, but she made a list of people that made fun of about it, and it has in any capacity, so that she can smite her vengeance on them in the future. Let's go. I might be on that list.
Hard to navigate, and I couldn't figure out how to spend the tokens, how much they'd be worth, and what it would work for. In December, Disney announced it would invest $1 billion into OpenAI and allow users to make videos with its copyrighted characters on Sora. However, the transaction never closed. A Disney spokesperson said on Tuesday the company respects OpenAI's decision to exit the video generation.
If he looked into this more instead of just reading this basic thing, you could realize that like there's so many problems even just with the data centers. The amount of data centers that they need to build is outrageous if they want to meet their real number. We don't have the power to sustain the data centers currently, so some kind of power needs to be built, like a power group. And right now, like the tech bro perspective is oh, we'll figure out the power later, but no one wants to talk about nuclear or any other alternatives. It's all oil right now, which prices are going up because the main strait that I was deployed to at one point is no longer letting oil run through unless it's to people that Iran lets it move through. It's fucking insane.
Business and to shift its priorities elsewhere. We appreciate the constructive collaboration between our teams and what we learned from it, and we will continue to engage with AI platforms to find new ways to meet fans where they are while responsibly embracing new technologies that respect IP and the rights of its creators, Disney said. Fiji Simo, OpenAI's CEO of applications, recently held an all-hands meeting with staffers to discuss.
So for real. She said on stream she told her friends to send all her usernames of people that were talking about her negatively during that time. That's hilarious. What is going on? Oh, I hit the wrong button. I just got knocked out. Okay. Oh.
Company's priorities. She said that the OpenAI is orienting aggressively towards high productivity use cases. One area it's trying to compete more forcefully is in enterprise, where Anthropic has built a big business with its Claude module. What really matters for us right now is staying focused and executing extremely well, Simo said during the meeting, according to the partial transcript reviewed by CNBC. And I'm not going to keep going through all these articles because, once you read one, you basically get the gist of all of them, but Business Insider as well. OpenAI's Sora decision is all about AI compute. They're doing a massive shift away from what they were once doing and getting rid of the data centers and opting more for, it seems like, a cloud approach.
What?
But I
mean, he realizes that data centers are the cloud, right? He does realize that data centers are the cloud. Yeah, apparently that's all he does is, pretty much all he does is read articles about something that happened online. And even his Alyssa ones are usually him. He'll read an Alyssa tweet and then he'll read all of his friends' tweets or randoms people's tweets around it. There's no in between, we'll say. Oh, but like the cloud is data centers. It's places that you hold memory. You still they need the data centers because they need one to process all that information, but also to put storage in. The data center is not going to, or it is impossible, I would say. And I'm not like a full-on computer guy, but it sounds impossible for AI to work off of just memory. You need the hardware to run it. No wonder he can pump out like 3 videos a day. It's like the bare minimum of what could be considered a video. Absolutely. See, I provide peak content for my viewers. I play games while I'm talking about the videos. I show you videos that you want to see. I stop and chat and give my own opinion. I have no idea how to get in here or do anything.
To argue that might just be
That's
business
right,
speak
buddy.
yeah, we're
Always be
searching
your
for
goat.
other options right now as our entire organization is burning around us. The bubble has officially popped, but we're not telling
hasn't
anyone that
yet.
that's what's happened because we all need to get our golden parachutes and get the fuck out.
It hasn't really popped. We're starting to see the signs of it bending, but it hasn't popped, right?
Out of this industry right now before it all collapses below us or on top of us. At this point, the large language models, the LLMs, are here to stay. There are so many options out there. ChatGPT from OpenAI has been kneecapped with censorship and nerfed to the brim to the point where it doesn't even make sense to utilize it anymore. So they've kind of shot themselves in the foot by trying to lead the way and putting all the red tape on it. The red tape ended up being restrictions. And when you add restrictions into something where people just want to be able to use it for shit.
And we're right back into it's because of how much it cost. Okay. It's because of how much it costs. No. The entire, like, how are you going to say that the bubble is fucking breaking and then say, no, it's because of the prices? The bubble is the entire industry. The bubble is the market that has built up around this. The stock market is going to crash because of this. Is it going to be as big as, say, you know, the housing crisis and the huge crash that happened, like, you know, way back in the day, the Great Depression, things like that? No. Well, the Great Depression was something else. Never mind. Ignore me. Bro, I was in dire straits trying to replace your streams while you were away. I was begging Chud Logic and Dickers to cover SmashJT or Kodak, the VTuber, in any capacity. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm back, bud. I'm back, and you've got me. And I need to look into that Kodiak guy because he just sounds like a fucking loser. It just, he's a guy who's, I don't know. I think he overplays his military career, and he doesn't seem to really have any takes. Oh God, I'm terrible at that. Yeah, he doesn't seem to have any good takes whatsoever. On anything, or even any like takes at all. He just says like one or two comments, but I want to look into him. We'll see.
They won't use it. They're going to look elsewhere, find other avenues. And I think Elon Musk realized that with Grok. And even though, yes, there's red tape on Grok
we got Grok shilling
as well, it's far less restrictive than pretty much every other LLM out there and other AI technologies available.
Yeah, the child porn that people were making was definitely something else.
And I think that's what one of the major things that hurt OpenAI from growing. But this might have been a much bigger issue than just...
There's no growing. None of the AIs are growing. No one's making money off of any of these AIs. They're all burning money. Every single one of them. Is Grok even like building data centers? Are they having people play? Let's look. I'm going to pull it up here real quick. Data centers for Grok. Let's see here. Grok, developed by Elon Musk, operates from the colossal data center in Memphis, which is designed to support its advanced AI capabilities while raising significant environment threats. And this is, of course, AI. So we'll have to look at some of the sources. Research and development world. When was this? XAI to invest $169 million into new Tennessee data clusters. This is from March 5th. Home building cluster for AI Grok. It still hasn't like been built. Or like some of it's been built. Obviously, there's Groks is around, but you're talking like 312,000 square feet. The site is 79 acres of land parceled. What's powering it? Oh, that's right. The same thing that's powering the homes around that area. And guess what? It's going to cost the homeowners more money, not the AI data centers, because the government is completely laced with these AI companies. It's just, he wants to think that it's because of price matching, but it's not price matching, bud. The entire AI economy has no weight underneath it whatsoever.
It's been 8 months since my first video.
Anyway, that's that. That's SmashJT's terrible takes on AI. But next is a little video. We're going to finish out the night with, we may not even finish it just because of timing. Or maybe we'll just go ahead and play for a little bit. No, I want to read a little bit into this Tectone stuff. Kind of see where it's going. Or see what he brought up before. You know, more has happened since this video. Like, apparently he may have broken his protective order. Apparently he's getting kicked off of YouTube. Could it be for that same protective order, or could it be for things he said on stream? I don't know. A lot of people like to break TOS. Yeah, I've seen some of it. I wasn't completely cut off, but I was really busy, so I couldn't get into it. It's been interesting. So I want to see what ShaMoos has to cook with here.
On Tectone covering his tumultuous and allegation-ridden relationships. Since then, a judge ruled in civil court that based on evidence and testimony presented, that Tectone likely raped,
a familial obligated rapist,
stalked,
I'm stalking you,
and was a self-admitted oofy-doofy schizophrenic.
I'm schizophrenic and I have a gun. I'm a very dangerous man.
If you are unaware and want to know more on the timeline of Tectone's history, be sure to check out my first video on him. However, briefly, in February of 2024, Tectone's ex...
He's not actually getting kicked off YouTube. He's just doing the same thing when he went to Kick, but instead doing it with Rumble. Gotcha. Yeah, he did say he was just going to upload clips, I guess, censored clips. So maybe he got a warning.
His wife Freem was going to come out with SA allegations against him. Lawsuits in court fair would then lock these allegations under an NDA. However, later, Tectone's ex-girlfriend Pink Chu would also make allegations, which this time became public. These allegations Pink made would ignite a long battle between the two, which would end up in civil court, where a judge found that there were reasonable grounds to believe that Tectone committed SA and stalking. Pink Chu would file for a protection order on August 21st of 2025, just 1 month after my second video, and it wasn't until January 23rd of 2026 that a trial would take place with everything on the line.
They go after my family and they call me a generational rapist in front of 1.2 million people.
Well,
it's been a wild ride, because I'm telling you, when I get exonerated, I'm going nuclear. I did everything.
It aged so poorly.
Everything for you. I helped you with everything. I fixed everything for you. I was there for you like nobody else was there for you in your whole life. I fantasize about getting the report that says your case has been indefinitely suspended.
They call him a generational rapist? Yes.
Be sure to like the video and leave a comment, as it helps with the algorithm. If you want to support, you can do so with the links on screen now. This video will look to illustrate why Tectone lost his case in such a spectacular fashion. By considering testimony, court and medical records, along with greater contextual evidence from what Tectone has said on his streams, it should become quite clear why Tectone lost his case. Beyond the courtroom, we will also look at how Tectone has leveraged his relationships with other online creators to defend him, issue talking points, and in some cases directly attack Pink, who had just...
Yeah, it seemed like everyone came out to defend him. Oh, well, it's not legal. You know, he's not legally a rapist because he didn't go to jail for it. But we all know that, like, rape cases generally don't get fully prosecuted. There's so many things that have to fall into place for it to be, you know, without a reasonable doubt that it happened.
Has been given a 10-year protection order against him. Tectone could be seen as a use case for what not to do when accused of SA. In court, Pink had medical records of a lip injury sustained during the alleged assault. So what does Tectone do? Talks about and confirms the injury on stream.
You know what you can't do to women who have lip filler? You can't their mouth, because it'll rupture the lip filler.
More on this later. Tectone was represented by Jeffrey Puryear, who has experience in cases involving SA and abuse allegations. On his front page, the one case that is listed in detail is a summary of a man he represented who was accused of abusing his stepdaughter. After Mr. Puryear represented him, he was found not guilty. Pink Chew was represented by Michelle L. Locke, who specializes in divorce, custody, and protective order applications. In Tectone's lawyer's opening statement in just the second paragraph, it contradicts what Tectone has lied to his audience in the past about. It states, quote, "It's true that the applicant, or Pink, never paid rent," end quote. However, during Tectone's original response to these allegations, he claimed the exact opposite.
You say that I would say, do your job, you don't pay rent.
Like, some of these people, like, you really don't think that like it's going to come out. You really just don't think that when you go into court that you're going to sit there. I mean, obviously, I think what it was is he thought it was all going to be sealed, and then he could just make up whatever the fuck he wanted to and vaguely not mention her in it. But nope, it got leaked, and now here we are.
This is factually untrue. Here is you paying rent, not one time, but multiple times. That is you paying rent.
He has also claimed the opposite of this as well.
It's Pink's responsibility. And the reality is that she's in my house role-playing as a goth Hooters orderer, waitress. And honestly, it's really annoying because the reality is she doesn't pay rent. The reality is she doesn't pay rent.
What Tectone was trying to sleight of hand here is that Pink originally was not paying rent. Allegedly, when Tectone made it Pink's job to perform oral acts on him in lieu of paying rent, she asserted that she wanted to pay rent. So Tectone's lawyer's opening statement, totally contradicting his own public response to SA allegations, is a good sign as to how this trial would go. Pink would take the stand and flesh out.
It seems like like the look on that guy's. I don't know if that was the right lawyer. It seems like he even lied to his lawyer, like with those opening statements coming out the way they were. It wasn't the truth. So now this guy has to fight for Tectone when he doesn't have all the information. He can't make a good case without it.
About some of the allegations being made and the start of their relationship. Quote, "He told me, he said, I could change your life. I'm in OTK. I have connections. You should just move in with me. You won't have to pay rent, and I will help you, and you can try to help me. Here's some vitamins," and was like, "I'll change your life, and we'll get you better," and kept telling me that he's going to change my career. In regards to OTK, the org Tectone was a part of, she stated, "They have pretty much control in Austin to make and break your career. Whether you get invited to collaborations or get sponsorships, they also have control, and the owners own one of the largest management companies that I was also a part of at the time, or he got me into, because that was another promise he said he could do." According to Pink, originally she was doing graphic design and thumbnails for Tectone to compensate for paying rent, but this would become warped over time. Quote, "I just would help him with some thumbnails, so in my assumption, it would just be helping him because I do graphic design and media, so I make his thumbnails and edited some things for him." It went
So
from make this thumbnail for me to he kept telling me to suck his and at the time, he would tell me, "Do your job, you don't pay rent." And those are the words that I clearly remember.
I hate that he used to use his social status to manipulate people. At least he can't do that anymore, considering his social reputation. Yeah, pretty much everyone knows who he is. But since I've heard of Tectone, right, which is fairly within the last 2 years, I would say, year and a half at most, he always rubbed me the wrong way. It was just that there's something about, I've met people like him before who will use any scrap of advantage they have to do it, who will lie and say things that are better. It's the way he talks, the way he tries to stay friendly, and things like that. It's manipulative.
Remember. Okay, and how soon after you moved in did those issues begin? Pretty right away. I think once he had said that in particular, I felt disgusted, and then told him I wanted to pay rent, and that's why soon after, towards the end, I believe it was the end of February, I started paying rent. I gave him $1,000. I said I didn't like that dynamic, it made me feel disgusting. What Pink Chew alleges in her testimony paints Tectone as a very manipulative person. Yeah. Whenever I had complaints about how...
We're talking not psychopath, sociopath level. No, not what is it when you're what's the manipulative one? God, I can't remember. There we go. Maybe it is. So I can't remember
how he was treating me or anything. He said
he speaks and acts like an ape. Nothing going on upstairs aside from trying to manipulate women 10 plus years younger than him. Yeah, you could say. I mean, the thing is like he's good at manipulating in the way he does it, because he's always the nice guy, right? I'm the nice guy. Why are you getting mad at me? I'm just the nice guy. I watched him do it when he went on stream with Chud Logic, and it was like off-putting for Chud Logic, because if Chud were to go hard on him, he would just spin it as Chud was an asshole, I was the nice guy, and his fans at the time would follow. I don't know that he has any left. I think he's botted, but that's kind of how it felt. He plays the nice guy so that he can use that as a defense when you come at him for some bad takes.
Because I'm autistic,
Or
my
his
version of
rape
reality is not like normal people, and that he would have to explain to me what was really going on. And you all had a journal, is that right? I kind of just...
He does what Keemstar used to do, if you remember. I did so much for you. I thought we were friends. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Started one. He had me write a list of things he said that were wrong with me, that he said I needed to give my psychiatrist. And then he later graded me on the things he thinks I need to work on.
What's really fun about this camera, I knew it would work great, right? But Pink is stupid, and she has this thing called social anxiety.
And what did he say that you needed to go see a psychiatrist for? That my memory recollection was incorrect. I believe I wrote it in my journal. I can't remember by specific.
I can't tell you how many times I go into something with good faith. The other person doesn't have proper memory recollection.
I hate the words good and bad faith. They're used way too often and not in the proper term.
Gets confused about what they're doing. The stress of the situation gets to them, and then they say, oh, this is not the word, but they'll say things like, oh, funny. You gaslighted me, you manipulated me, you're strawmanning me.
He said I was immature.
She's an adult though, so I can't say much for it. I don't really care in those sides, but yeah.
That my memory recollection was incorrect, that my phrasing, he would say things and then I would phrase it incorrectly, that I lacked communication skills, that I was depressed and dooming a lot, that I wasn't a positive person. I didn't take accountability. I was not.
So it started out with love bombing, right? I can get you stuff, I can make you famous, I can do things for you. And then it turned into like, give me head, I've given you something, so now you need to give me something. So transactional abuse, I would say. And now he's at the stage where he's breaking her down, saying she's not good enough, you're bad at this, I'm gonna make you better, probably I'm the only one that can make you better.
Independent enough. I was paranoid and I had no emotional control. He would continue by claiming Tectone would have her write a list on paper of what she needed to tell her doctors during her online appointments.
And then I pull out the whiteboard.
Another insane thing we got out of this trial was that Tectone, when he had a disagreement with Pink, or when he wanted to explain why her memory recollection of events was incorrect, would actually sit Pink down at a whiteboard and John Madden gameplay why she can't remember events clearly, or why he's correct on something they disagree about. Pink's lawyer says to Tectone, you actually would sit her down with a whiteboard and go over everything to convince her she was wrong, right?
Jesus. The whiteboard.
I'd like to see how these two connect, but I don't understand in what regard. We have talked with a whiteboard before.
Yeah, and you would use a whiteboard to show her that she was wrong in whatever position she was taking, that you all were disagreeing on, correct?
Oh, if we were to have an argument, then we weren't seeing eye to eye. Visual aid really helped her as well as her to me. This was another very frequent commonality where I would have to sit down with her and I would tell you exactly what I did. I would take her, I would run the shower in the bathroom because it would be nice background noise, because I know autistic people get overwhelmed from noises. So I would put that on to calm her. I would sit her on the floor and we would sit there for hours as I would bring out the coloring board and I would...
For hours? Holy shit. Like, you're sitting her down like she's a child and you're pretending that any of these things that you're doing are like good for her, when really it's a control problem, right? You're trying to break her down and show her that she's a child and that she needs you.
Would draw out the issues that you were experiencing, and I would help you through each and every single one of your problems. And I did this from start to finish. Every time you had an issue.
And do you know what coercive control is?
Yes.
And you told her that she had memory problems, right?
I believe we have had discussions on her memory not being, as sharp as attack. Sure, I'm sure we've had conversations about memories.
Besides game planning like John Madden with Pink on how she couldn't remember anything, Tectone was also guiding her as to what medication she should be taking. Pink's lawyer asked Tectone, did you tell her what things to tell her therapist to get prescribed certain medications?
I definitely tried to help her understand, try to help her make sense of what's going on in her head. She wanted to tell me this is kind of happening to me, and I'd say, well, maybe it's this. I definitely tried to help her in her journey to therapy and medication.
Pink's lawyer paints this picture to the court, this controlling guy using whiteboards for hours to explain to his girlfriend why she can't remember anything correctly, what pills she should be on, and what to tell doctors to get said pills. Directly after this, Pink's lawyer passes the witness, and Tectone's rep has nothing to say or add on to any of this. My takeaway, and I'm not a lawyer obviously, but Tectone's team must think that getting any further clarity on these topics will only make their client look worse. Why else wouldn't there be any pushback or further questioning? You really have to admire how poorly Tectone has handled this situation, which would inevitably make him look awful in court. At one point, Pink filed a cease and desist against him. So even after going to the police, he still would not stop harassing me, and I had an attorney send him a cease and desist, telling him I had gone to the police and he needs to leave me alone. Did that stop him? No. In fact, he went public and laughed about it, said, she sent me a cease and desist for defaming her, but I'm going to keep defaming her.
I got sent a cease and desist about 3 months ago saying I need to stop defaming my ex, and then I continue saying the exact same shit that I've been saying. And
dude, you can't shoot yourself in the foot any more than this man is doing right now. He's just like giving the evidence away for people to, or for this case to be completely on his side. He has to be a complete moron.
The only thing that I got for Pink was a...
Hey, Kaz, what's going on? Who is this about? Oh, never mind. I know who this is. I think everyone knows who this is, Kaz.
Cease and desist. Because Pink sent me a fucking cease and desist to stop defaming her 8 months ago. And I've been going live and saying the same shit that I've been saying for 8 months. That's okay. More and more. It gets worse every day for everybody else besides me. She even has a cease and desist on me. Right? She sent me a cease and desist. And I've never stopped talking a single time. All women with big tits? She fucking bought those too.
For it.
So like, it's just fucking plastic,
True
brother.
Kimoji.
Like what? Like this is a 30-year-old woman.
He and Smash have a lot in common regarding cease and desist. Oh man, that should be an interesting thing, comparing their public case. Like, I want to see all the stuff. Like, I would love to go to that court case and just see how it goes. Like Ron going through it, then pulling up all of the stuff that he does live, talking about her constantly.
I've been saying this shit. I had to take care of her ass after surgery. All because the bitch couldn't just say things didn't work out. She got the work. Guys, to give you even more context, I'm currently on a cease and desist by her.
Nothing much. Just got my shower and preparing my cosplay for tomorrow's con and plan to go to it. Nice. What are you cosplaying? Has there been any updates to the case? So the last update with the case was here. I'll pull it up. It's just basically they still haven't done what they're supposed to do. The courts are possibly making Smash come in person so they can discuss discovery, because normally discovery, from what I gather, the way it's supposed to work is both parties are supposed to talk about discovery. The parties are supposed to work it out together. But what's been happening, Sans and Undertale, okay, nice, are supposed to work out what's happening. But what's actually been happening is Ron's just been kind of ignoring everything and saying he's not reading emails and things like that. So now the judge, it seems, is going to have to take action and figure out like what these discovery numbers are, because Smash is dragging his feet. In fact, there was an email that Alyssa's lawyers got a hold of through discovery that flat out Smash said, word for word, I want her to pay more money. You drag it out, Ron, pretty much.
Tectone would make so many subtweets and threats towards Pink that she put together an archive and list of these occurrences, which is almost 200 pages long. Pink's lawyer asked, and what kind of threats was he making online? I have a timeline of everything, but it was mainly, I'm going to sue you. He's also made threats that he's going to ruin me, that everybody was going to know the truth, that he was coming after me, that there were explicit material that he shared with multiple people, and that he will post them online if I don't retract statements. And it is almost 200 pages of it.
And don't worry, guys. I got something cooking for her. And man, Pink, you are gonna love that. And now you've built,
which is crazy because Smash has been saying this whole time that she's the one dragging it out, that they're trying to do all this money, but that is a lie. He's the one that's been dragging his feet. Ron's been dragging his feet. He told Ron to drag his feet on this and make him get full discovery. So that's been their plan the whole time, is to force them to get to the judge to do discovery.
Your entire image on lies, and do you know what's going to happen when those lies crumble, Pink? You lose everything because you're a liar.
Yeah, exactly, Kat.
And that's what's going to happen. Why y'all think Pink don't talk about me no more? Because she knows she's because she knows she's yep. All she'll do is pin old tweets. She won't tweet anything new.
This aged really well.
Because she knows she's yep. Won't say which is weird. Because before she had all this to talk about. But man, Pink, if only you knew the shit that I knew. But don't worry. You'll find out. And what's crazy is, Pink, and I'm going to let you know, I would still forgive you if you apologized. Publicly, of course. That's what's crazy. But you won't. And it's going to be great to see what happens. You had to say, nah. He did all that. No, I didn't. Shut the f up. Because your ass always got to cry about some bullshit. They're going to say, well, he my family. He bombed my house. He set fire to a 7-Eleven. And he hit me. It's like, just fucking shut up.
Even after Pink filed a protection order in August 2025, Tectone was still making threats on his Twitter.
They are going to hate what I found today. Your loss is now even more inevitable. Now I wait, winky face.
Attached to this tweet were decapitated heads of an anime. Okay.
I still enjoy that when it came out, he lost everyone and tried to say it was like just for it to not be the case. Yeah. I mean, I didn't see a lot of people trying to defend that email. Oh, yeah. Everyone tried to say it was just like not be the case. Are you talking about Tectone or are we talking about Smash? I'm still kind of in between both of them, and it's hard to tell the difference.
Okay, and when you see these messages that he posts like this, how did you interpret them? Like, how did it make you feel? Like he's coming after me. Okay, has he made threats about going nuclear when the legal situation between you and he ends? Yes, I believe it was at the time he was showing his guns and things.
And pretty much all of my homies, and myself included, are just like, all right, because I'm telling you, when I get exonerated, I'm going nuclear. I'm just being straight up. I am counting the days, bro. I fantasize.
Okay, and in fact, he's indicated on social media that he's schizophrenic and is strapping, referring to weapons. Is that correct? Yes.
Dead people can talk. That's what people will learn very soon. I know everything, and that's why they fear me, and that's why they try to discredit me. And once again, guys, I'm schizophrenic and I have a gun. I'm a very dangerous man.
One of my suspicions of Tectone was that after being accused,
Tectone would fold so fast in a gunfight. I just know it. Going to the range and shooting is much different than being like Billy Badass and going into it. There's a lot of soldiers who can't do it the first time, much less, this guy who cries on stream.
Of abuse by his ex, he began to take on a personality as someone in the far right. In order to circumvent the audience he lost because of his controversies. In other words, grifting. And you can definitely see this change in his content as well.
Some of my best friends are trans because they have not felt the same pain that certain content creators have felt in this community. I mean, there's been racism, sexism, racial slur.
Also, a shout out to Saint Joseph for losing to Duke after the coach decided to be an idiot and make players dig graves. I don't watch sports, bud, but yeah, Everybody wants to be the guy in TikTok Giga Chad phonic edit until it comes the time for you to do the action. Exactly. Let me tell you this. I haven't been in any kind of direct combat or anything like that, but I can tell you I don't know what I would do in that situation until it happens. I had one incident where it might have gotten pretty close back here in the States, but that's about it. And you just don't know what you're going to do in that situation until it's time to pull the trigger.
Towards Asian people, which is something that I do not tolerate whatsoever. I do not tolerate hate speech whatsoever. I do not tolerate anything derogatory towards any specific race.
Yeah, where flat out he says that he's a grifter.
Gender, anything whatsoever. To be honest, I think I'm a pretty progressive guy.
People are trying to kill white people. They absolutely are. I'm going to say something that a lot of people don't like when I say this.
I appreciate it, Kaz. I try and give my own personal perspectives when I can.
I believe that white lives matter. I do.
Tectone in court was complaining about the amount of hate he got online and trying to attribute it to Pink. So when Pink's lawyer brought up his sudden political change of heart, this is what Tectone had to say.
So if I can explain on that, when all of these things came out, I lost pretty much a large chunk of my audience, and content creators kind of have to pivot what they're doing to other topics once they lose access to a demographic. So
the AI Tectone voice is just beautiful.
Originally,
God, Beanie era Tectone really shows off his fish lips.
I never really covered anything political or talking about, white privilege. But yeah, I would say my content definitely had to find a new route on how to be successful online. And so unfortunately, I had to make a little bit more extreme comments to be successful in the career that I'm in now.
Tectone, politically speaking, is a total fraud. It's just further evidence that he is portraying a character to benefit himself. It's abundantly clear from him calling himself a progressive in earlier streams.
To be honest, I think I'm
and here's the thing, like I don't mind YouTubers playing characters online, right? That can be part of your shtick. I've got my little piggy wargaming dad. I could be a little bit more visceral than I am in, well, no, not really. I speak my mind, but you can, like, people play it up. There's people who do characters and they play up things that they do. But to be like a complete grifter and change all of your political ideas because, well, I lost my audience and I have to get it back. So what's the popular thing to do right now? It's just fucking brain dead.
a pretty progressive guy.
To him admitting in open court that he is grifting.
Some of my best friends are trans.
At one point in the trial, Pink retells the story of a time she went to a mutual friend and told her that Tectone was making her give him oral. Once Tectone found out, he freaked out and made her...
Some take the persona and character too far. A good example is that anime snob. Is that that's the guy that shot up the store, right? Yeah. One of the more extreme cases, but even in while Tectone hasn't done anything that dangerous, he legit lost a lot of his audience when he tried to mock someone for losing their marriage. Yeah. I mean, you have to know where your line is, or things are going to get bad. And then you go into the darker places, but you got to separate. And I think the problem comes down to money. People turn their they get famous. I don't know about that anime stop. I don't know how big he got, but people turn their once it becomes money, like someone like Tectone who's making a ton of money off of this thing, you have to, you have this need, like, I have to keep making money. He probably hasn't set up like any kind of retirement for himself. He hasn't done anything but like waste the money, and now he's got to keep doing it so he can keep relevant. Though I do think a big part of it with Tectone is he needs an audience. He is so audience captured that he needs people to like him. Well, was making a lot of money off of this. True. That's all changed now. But I still think if he's not making a lot of money, he's going to do it because he wants the attention. He wants people to like him.
Or call that friend to find out what she knew and send text messages to Tectone for plausible deniability. I told her that he would make me give him oral actions, and she freaked out. And I'm like, but it's all fine, it's not a big deal. And I got scared because I didn't know if I could trust her. He then, the next day, sat me in the office and sat me in a chair, and he's like, I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to step inside and out. And he stepped outside of the office and said, you're going to tell me everything you told her in detail, and I want to know if you're lying.
Now with the shift to Rumble exclusive streaming, he's down to like a quarter of his view base before the lawsuit. Jesus. Chibi Reviews is doing the same thing. Yeah. Switch into whatever grift works, right? And I mean, they kind of went down the same road at the same time, because I know they did a podcast together. No, I don't need a marker. I need to set a destination. We're going to go in here because I got to find... I want to find something to sell all this shit that I've got. So, and that includes Rumble being the most view-botted streaming platform between YouTube, Kick, and Rumble. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, that's why he's going over there, so he can still look like he's got big numbers. Rumble is a shit website. I've never personally looked into it, but I've never seen anyone go to Rumble that I would follow over to that site and start using it.
And we're going to have her on the phone back and forth and find out all the information. You're going to text me that you want to perform this oral action on me, or else I'm not going to trust you. Shortly after all of this is said in the courtroom, Pink's lawyer...
That's like straight up coercion. Straight up coercion.
Passes the witness, and they have absolutely nothing to say. They don't try to question her on this history of events whatsoever. Tectone takes the stand after, and the story is never commented on again. Shockingly, Tectone's team were the first to bring up the original DM from Pink, who immediately starts to recount a small portion of context in this incident. When she gives the full testimony of this incident later, there is no pushback from Tectone's lawyers, and they opt to not even bring it up once Tectone takes the stand. Ask yourselves, why wouldn't they push back on this? This is a huge claim by Pink, especially when this text Tectone's team brought forward was really the only substantial evidence that they even used in court. They aren't going to push back on Pink with this? Tectone isn't even going to say that it isn't true? Why? When Pink's allegations of SA went public, a main defense Tectone employed multiple times on stream.
He probably doesn't use that Kick account anymore. He probably doesn't use that account anymore because he wasn't getting the, I guess, viewership he was, or the money. I don't know how well Kick is doing right now. Free speech and it's just bigotry. Like, yeah, you can use free speech in a lot of ways, but some people just use it as a gateway to try and be edgy, and in real life they're just sound racist.
X was that Pink was weaponizing SA against him because he had also been SA.
And to imply that
it's theater racism, right? They probably don't believe in anything that they're saying whatsoever, but they're doing it and to try and make, you know, that impression that their audience would like to see. Oh, excuse me. Oh, he's getting something.
Rapist? After I myself have been...
I saw that with that one guy shooting the alligator, but he's actually I saw something that said he was unbanned as well once he got out of jail.
Twice? It's just a little bit crazy, isn't it?
So it was interesting that on the stand, after being sworn in by his lawyer, the very first thing Tectone's team brought up was this incident, which was his sister trying to give him crabs. However, utilizing this when he is trying to persuade outside parties on his stream and X that he is innocent isn't very effective. Realistically, trauma tends to perpetuate trauma. There are entire academic and research studies done on this topic where early life abuse was significantly associated with many disorders, but also what Tectone is being accused of. Not that I am claiming in particular that this is a cycle, just that it's not a great defense for Tectone in the slightest. And if you were a cynic in regards to Techie, you may even call it manipulative to use it as a defense, how he has on the internet. It is shocking how bad Tectone is on the stand. He says, quote, "I'm not going to lie," 5 separate times throughout the trial.
It was pretty important to me because I am lazy. I'm not gonna lie. And I speed, I'm not gonna lie. You know, what if I get her pregnant? And also, you know, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not going to lie. I was, shortly after we broke up, interested in another girl. Pretty lazy guy in my life, I'm not gonna lie.
Tectone several times goes on insane long tangents where he throws in information not even being asked by his own lawyer. For instance, his lawyer simply asks, when you broke up the first time,
yes.
There
was, I want to clarify, there was 3 times. Once I believe Pink has forgotten about. There was one where Pink wanted me to try to have sex, and I swore to her that I would try, and I did, and it just didn't work. I was too afraid of committing vaginal sex. It's not a thing to take lightly. I'm not a guy that sleeps around. It's, you know, what if I get her pregnant? And also, you know, I'm not going to lie. The unfortunate reality is that I did have a fear of Virginias. It's still hard for me to look at Virginias. I'm a straight man, but something about them just scares me. And so, you know, when I lost my virginity, I had to even close my eyes just to kind of go through the motions. Sorry, am I rambling? What was the exact question?
So the first time that you broke up?
Yes, okay, sorry.
Damn it, Kamoji. Thank you. Like, what is this? Like, he willingly gave out information about him being afraid of vaginas. It doesn't sound, I mean, I'm sure they did. No, I'm not. You can hear me. Hello? 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 Hold on. Tech, check. Can you hear me now? I was muted and unmuted. Okay, hello, I can hear you. Good. Anyway, I was like, willingly giving out the information that you're afraid of pussy is something. It's definitely something. I'm back. That's right, we're back. Let's keep going.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
there was the one time.
We're definitely going to end up finishing this maybe next stream before we watch the Real Game Awards, or maybe Monday's stream.
Time where she didn't get.
John?
Yes?
Hold on.
Yes.
Imagine you're the judge. You are presiding over this protection order case, which includes multiple incidents of alleged assault. And then out of nowhere, not even prompted by the lawyer, the defendant goes off on a tirade about how he is terrified of laying pipe. Shortly after, a bizarre and unprompted rant about Tectone's fear of female anatomy during a hearing for a protection order that includes SA, Tectone would again go off on a tangent in which he presents himself as a philanthropist. When did she move in?
Oh, really quick. She would frequently complain about her house, and I had already flown in my other buddy Lauro to stay with me for free because he was struggling. And, I don't like being alone, so I let him move in with me for free. And then Pink said that her house kind of sucked, and she didn't really have anything to do about it because she couldn't just move out because she couldn't afford it. And I said, hey, anything you need to make your life better, I'll do it. If you need money, I got you. Because there was this funny time she was in her house and she was very afraid because there was cockroaches. And so I came to my car and I speed. I'm not going to lie. I've sped pretty bad. I went like 80 and like a 65 and I got pulled over that night. And I told the officer, what the guy says, why are you speeding? And I say, well, officer, it was for a girl. This girl that I like, she's got cockroaches. And he says, no problem, I get it.
Wait,
Lets me
Asmongold was over there?
off. Gives me like a warning, and then I go over there and I pick her up and I bring her back to the house, and then I say, why don't you just move in?
Tectone, practically unprompted, goes off on a tirade that in my opinion just comes off as manipulative to the court. He sort of presents himself as a hero. He let his buddy move in because he was struggling, and oh, by the way, it was totally free. Pink couldn't afford anything and her house had cockroaches. Tectone told Pink, I'll do anything to make your life better. Money, you got it. In fact, you can move in immediately.
Yeah,
Later under cross, Pink's lawyer also clarifies with Tectone that there was only one cockroach, which he partially concedes to. And if that's true, it just fleshes out the picture for how manipulative he can be when presenting this stuff in open court and trying to present Pink as destitute, basically. While things like this may work on his YouTube audience, in the middle of a civil court trial to go off on this long-winded rant only hurts him when his lawyer simply asked, when did she move in?
Stream, I carry our marriage, and you know that.
A large portion of Pink's cross-examination by Tectone's lawyer was to single in on her previous lawsuit with Tectone's ex-wife, Freem, basically saying, well, you're calling him an abuser now, but you weren't when you were trying to sue his ex-wife, which is already a pretty sticky situation for Tectone, as in the lawsuit itself, it alludes to his ex-wife on the precipice of making abuse and SA allegations against him.
She was going to do something much worse, so bad it would have ruined all of our lives. I'm not going to say what it was that she was doing, but it was so horrific it would have ruined all of our lives.
The allegations Freem was going to make are alluded to in the lawsuit with Pink. They have also been talked about in the background for some time. The dispute between Freem and Tectone relates to a serious and false allegation against Tectone. During that call, Tectone and Pinkchu learned that Freem had a Google Doc and she was planning to release it to the public. Tectone signed an NDA with his ex-wife directly after she was about to come out with rape allegations against him. This was one of my main points in my first video and a thing I speculated over but was unable to get answers about. This is also fleshed out in the courtroom. Pink's lawyer asks, alright, and without going into details, that NDA relates to a lawsuit between he and his ex-wife post-divorce, right? I believe it was an agreement that they made. He told me that he had sent her a cease and desist, paid her $30,000, and had her sign an NDA to not go public. And this was right before you filed your lawsuit against her. Is that right? I believe after he had her sign the NDA and paid her, we had our spat and I sued her. Okay, and was that at his encouragement to sue her? He encouraged a lot for me to sign an NDA and keep all of it under wraps due to the allegations the ex-wife had. He didn't want those to be public. Tectone later would be questioned about this lawsuit between his ex-wife and ex-girlfriend. Pink's lawyer states, and you also, at the time of the lawsuit, you wanted her to sign an NDA because you didn't want all of your ex-wife's allegations public. Isn't this correct?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Sure. We talked about the lawsuit, correct?
Of course.
And you tried to paint it that you were not involved in it. In fact, wanted nothing to do with it, correct?
I tried my hardest to not be a part of it, but obviously when Pink was worried about it, I tried to assist her.
And in fact, what was the attorney's name that handled the case?
I'm actually not familiar.
Aaron? You don't remember Aaron?
No, I'm not familiar with Aaron.
You may be thinking, why is Pink's lawyer asking Tectone about who represented Pink against his ex-wife? Well, it's because Tectone, by his own statements, was the one who got Pink's lawyer to sue his ex.
Rumble is not so bad when I tried to mirror my stream there. Apparently no site does alerts for Rumble in any capacity, so you have to install an app littered with shitty AI assets to give your login. Oh no. And then you would use text files that get saved at your computer to use as alerts instead. Holy shit. Yeah. I'll pass, thanks. Though I do think I may try again to start streaming on Twitch as well. I think I have my internet problems solved. But we'll see. We will see. What is this over here? Oh, it's another board, a bounty.
Wife. In November of 2024, here is Tectone addressing Pink after her allegations went public.
How these things that have happened in your own mind, you are now coming at me, and this just isn't cute. So, I am going to leave it at this. My lawyer is going to be contacting your lawyer. The same lawyer that I helped you get. The same lawyer that I helped you get. Because you were scared. I'm not f***ing around with this shit.
My intentions were to kind of just assist Pink. I mean, obviously, I think if I can toss myself a bone in those situations, I'll do it. But I mean, it's mainly just about Pink, you know, being okay.
One of Tectone's claims was that he had all the receipts, and when all this came out, he would be totally vindicated.
Will you tweet?
Yeah, I'll do that, bud.
Out the proof.
I won't do it this stream. We'll put it up for Saturday.
I will at a certain point.
We won't do it this stream. We'll put it up for Saturday.
I will at a certain point. I really, truly hope that you guys believe everything that is that I said. If you didn't, I'll provide proof later.
So shockingly, during the trial, after a year of claiming he had all the receipts, he in actuality had absolutely nothing.
The tweets that I pulled were kind of just like last second. I could probably dig more, but I haven't dug. I maybe dug for like 15 minutes.
Wait a minute. This has been on file since August. You've known about this since at least your video on November 21st, 2024. And you're telling this court under oath that you only spent 15 minutes to dig up these just for court today?
Yes.
And do you remember getting online and telling all of your followers you had all the evidence back in November of 2024 and you were ready to produce it all?
Of course.
We also just get a straight up admission from Tectone that he's just a liar in the court transcript. Tectone explains very plainly that he was let go from OTK over these allegations. However, that wasn't what Tectone claimed at all, at the time this event happened.
Let me explain to you why I left OTK, why I resigned from OTK, why I did not renew my contract with OTK that expired on November.
The guy is literally all talk, no substance. He has no, you're right, Money. He has no real morals. He's just going to say whatever he thinks the person in front of him or the audience in front of him wants him to say. That's what he does.
1st, 2024. The original contract was 2 years with an additional option to extend by an additional year, thusly completing my 3 years in OTK. And the reason why I chose to not renew with OTK is because it gave me a weakness. And I realize I really don't like having weaknesses.
Everyone was talking about it, which is why it forced me to respond, as well as the owners of my company decided to let me go as well because of the allegations. So people were ready to run with the ball of, look at that, another streamer from this org is a piece of shit.
And you were let go?
Instantly.
So Tectone, with his own testimony in court, is confirming he lied about why he left OTK originally. Tectone from the start of the trial tries to paint the picture of Pinkchu being a whore. Totally unprompted by his own lawyer, Tectone states,
if I can add further, when Pink came to my house, it was the most forward a woman has ever been with me in my entire life.
Tectone claims during his time on the stand that his and Pink's relationship was the most sexual one he had ever had, which I just thought was bizarre considering they never had normal procreative sex. Pink's lawyer asked Tectone, have you ever also said online, after you were made aware of these allegations by my client, that you were one of the only streamers who has had a documented blow machine?
I am one of the only streamers that has had a documented blow machine.
Jesus.
Right? Like, I don't know why people are thinking I'm sweating that I'm divorced. Guys, I'm out here having the time of my life. It's not a large pair of tits. It's not a big old ass. It ain't a big old blow machine that'll suck your daily because they're horny all the time. New blow machine acquired. Anything wrong? They like to bring up that I'm divorced all the time. Do these people not realize that I've had 2 back-to-back girlfriends since getting that divorce, and one of them was a self-proclaimed
he can't be wrong, and he has to blow everything up. Like, you see, I'm actually pretty base, guys. I get a lot of pussy. I get a lot of girls. And then he gets in front of a courtroom with people who are pressing him, and he's like, I'm actually kind of afraid of pussy.
Shane, do they think I'm sweating anything, man?
Yeah, because if I take it too serious, then everybody's going to think that it's real. And when you're in a self-defensive mode, you kind of got to say, anything you can to save face, because when people are calling you a rapist every day, I mean, you got to let it roll off the shoulder or make it a joke.
And so the best way to defend yourself is to make the other person basically a whore, correct?
I don't believe that's the best way to do that.
Well, that's what you've done. I mean, the first thing you said when you testified today was that she was the most forward woman that you have ever had in your life on day one.
I don't think calling someone forward is calling them a whore.
Really, when you talked about it, you said you like long tongues, and she exposed her tongue. You thought that was appropriate behavior?
It was probably inappropriate. That's probably what made it attractive, maybe, though. I'm just not used to it.
Do you not see that you were painting her in a particular light when you talk about these things in open court?
I can only give you an accurate representation of the truth. If it makes someone appear a certain way, that's not really against or not really my intention.
One of the most important factors when a judge is making a judgment in these types of trials is the credibility of testimony. A judge weighs demeanor, specificity, and plausibility. So imagine you're a judge residing over this case for a protection order that entails alleged SA. The first thing the defendant does is say unprompted, she wanted to immediately, and then directly after go on another unprompted rant about how terrified of he is.
I heard that shit and I was like, damn, did the schizophrenia get me?
One of the reasons his protection order is so long is because for years now, Tectone has been telling his audience in great detail and everyone around him that he is a schizophrenic.
It's called having schizophrenia. I'm fucking schizophrenic. Wait, am I allowed to get offended when people call people schizos because I have schizophrenia? As a guy who actually is schizophrenic, as a guy who does have mental illnesses, I'm schizophrenic. I'm really bad with horror games, so if I have to quit, you guys need to understand why that is. For example, I'm schizophrenic. Normal human beings aren't supposed to see things that aren't there. I have lived a life where I've always felt like there were people trying to kill me. I am also schizophrenic.
Edgy.
Sometimes I can't tell if I'm a schizophrenic or if I'm a shaman.
Surprisingly, when asked what he takes for this unfortunate affliction, Tectone simply responds with,
I just take multivitamins and fish oil, so nothing.
Kind of wanted to get a sleeve like that, but then I realized I'm schizophrenic and it might freak me out. Might make me think there's bugs in my skin.
When Pink's lawyer asks him why he isn't being treated for this very serious illness, Tectone responds in only a way he can.
I guess it's kind of goofy. There's this movie called The Beautiful Mind, and so I was like, man, his is messed up and mine is nothing compared to that. So, you know, I hear people like who like talk to people who aren't there, but I'm just like, what's that? Oh, it's gone.
That, you know, I've talked to spirits due to my mental illness, but here's the thing, guys, and here's the question I've always asked myself. Am I schizophrenic or am I a shaman? And obviously I'm schizophrenic.
Christ.
So, I mean, her face starts like mutating. Brother, the sheer damage I would have inflicted on human.
I just, maybe lightly schizophrenic, but the people that I hear about that have like schizophrenia generally don't get to live a very normal life, right? Maybe I'm just completely off base and I'm being ableist or whatever, but it doesn't sound like he has it. People like this is why we have mental health crisis. Yeah, I agree. He can be lightly schizophrenic but also be untreated. That's fair.
Kind, if I listened to the voices, would be insane. You should peel off your skin, Techie. You should peel off your skin. Well, if that's what you think, that's what's the truth.
Though there were trials and tribulations for Tectone throughout losing his civil case, just 9 days after the trial, he would receive a miracle that cured his mind of a decades-long battle with schizophrenia.
I have an announcement. I went to a psychiatrist yesterday, and I'll try to provide some documentation of this at a later date whenever I receive it. Guys, I'm not schizophrenic.
Wow, okay.
Diagnosed with schizophrenia. Voices, these lies to her head must leave her in Jesus' name.
Is that why you became religious?
Guys, I'm not schizophrenic. The psychiatrist believes the reason why I see things that aren't there, mainly, well, at night, is due to the fact that I got stabbed in my left eye, and my right eye is normal.
I wonder if that stabbing was his dad. He clearly never had someone. It took 20 years and 10 years of protective orders to find out you don't have schizophrenia. So he's an insane goofball. Yeah, he has zero self-control. Agreed.
And so they believe that my eyeballs are causing me to temporarily hallucinate things that aren't there because they're not signaling my brain properly.
Okay, that's great and all, but why do you talk about hearing voices all the time then?
I've talked to spirits due to my mental illness. I'm schizophrenic. I get really bad thoughts in my head. So I was going there, unironically, and I'm trying not to get emotional. I thought there actually might be something wrong with me. And so I was going to actually try to get medicated. They said I do not require medication. I guess I am just a human with anxiety, unresolved childhood trauma, and eyes that don't communicate too well to my brain.
Now, I personally have no idea where Tectone's lies or truth begins with any of this, to be honest, because the web is so massive, at a certain point, it's just a mad scramble. But here's what we know. Tectone has stated that he plans to appeal the court's decision of the...
Yeah, he's a combination of poor parenting, no support, and no real-life discipline. Yeah, I can see him having something like PTSD, considering the way he was treated as a child and the person who his father was. You know, if the stuff is true about a gun being pointed in his face and things like that and him getting beat, then yeah, I absolutely believe he could have something like that and it could be affected with it. But that doesn't give you the right to be a complete piece of shit, right?
The protection order.
Tectone's going through some stuff right now. He let me know he's going to be appealing.
Oh, no! We got a Templar jump scare.
That decision. You know, we've seen the courts do things that are not good.
And what is the first thing Tectone can do to help with his appeal? Not be a self-admitted, dangerous schizophrenic with a gun.
Once again, guys, I'm schizophrenic and I have a gun. I'm a very dangerous man.
Everyone has known the person growing up that lies about this or that mental illness they are afflicted with. I can't say one way or the other if that's what Tectone has been doing, but I can say his sudden cure of schizophrenia only helps him with his appeal. If only Tectone would have listened to the masters, his elders.
Okay, if the diagnosis came right around the appeal, then now it's looking even sketchier.
Dad told me I wasn't schizophrenic. I just played too many damn video games. Shut the f*** up, old man.
Well, I love the camaraderie. Stop military.
I sent my ops to the courtroom for Tectone and Pinkchu, and I have written down notes for a 7-hour trial. I have 7 hours of notes on Tectone and what he did to Pinkchu. Nice job, Tectone.
Yeah.
You disgusting.
In a true all-time generational hater moment online, Mizkif, an ex-member of OTK, sent people to the courtroom in Travis County, Texas, for the entirety of Tectone's trial with Pikachu. They even took video of Tectone leaving the courtroom.
Ready for this?
That's funny.
There he is, leaving the courtroom today. The walk of shame as he lost a court case to Pinkchu.
Count back and it's Tectone.
He
No,
lost.
that's right, damn it.
For 10 years,
We're
he can't
doing
own a
it.
firearm, weapon, or gun, and he has to stay away from Pinkchu. And has to pay all of her attorney.
Hey, Damage, but if you're available tomorrow evening, I'm going to be watching the Real Game Awards like I said I would. So be prepared for that.
Attorney fees, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Besides having agents in the courtroom, Mizkif posted never-before-seen transactions and texts of Tectone securing view bots for his various channels.
This is the bots that were bought. This is Tectone's account, 2004,
That's
July
so
26th,
nuts.
quantity 1,000, quantity 750. This
It's going to be Central Time Zone. Central Standard Time. Boop, boop, boop. And that'll be 9 o'clock my stream like it normally is.
This is John Tectone messaging the person that was buying him the bot saying, "Sad face, can you try that again? I'm stupid and dumb. You just make an account, pay to the top right and add it to your account. If you need help, let me know. It's good for you to do it anyway since I won't be around. Let me know if you need me to walk through it and I'll help you," which then they tried to help him with secure paying, okay? Did you get my bots? So Tectone definitely needing her to buy the bots. I could only do 750, but I sent you the link to everything. Sad face, can you try again? I'm stupid and dumb. There's Tectone's picture on August 24th, paying $1,000, claiming it's the house when it really was for bots.
Which message was it? I got damaged. Oh, I think I missed it reading it. I mean, clearly he did bring up schizophrenia in his stream as a way to appear as a base schizo gigachad to his dumbass fans. But I think he does actually have it. Well, apparently, he was told he doesn't. If anything, he may have like some kind of paranoid delusions. Those can be caused by a variety of other things that happen. Like PTSD can cause paranoid delusions. He may not actually hear voices. He may just be saying he is, or he might hear voices and he does have schizophrenia. You can't believe anything Tectone says on any level whatsoever.
Why would Tectone pay $1,000 for a house that he owns?
If you're skeptical for whatever insane reason, Tectone on his first stream back admitted to the botting allegations.
Hey, bro, there was mother going live on.
Yeah, his dad is one of the most prolific traders in there. Like, just what he did is absolutely undeserving. And he should have seen way more jail time than he did see.
On stream saying, "Yeah, ViewBot, hold up, I gotta send an extra 2,000. Have I dabbled in it? You're goddamn right. I absolutely tried it. Hey, it is what it is. I don't do that more, but
oh, guys, I don't do it anymore. Yeah, I did it one time. It was one time, guys. I did heroin one time. I swear I'm not a heroin addict. I only did it one time, to dabble in it."
It is what it is.
The most common thing I heard from people I spoke with about Tectone was that he was a massive view botter. Tectone has made a lot of money streaming and a lot of money from sponsors. Once Tectone leaked a $35,000 payment he received on stream.
Look at that.
Video?
He's killing it, man.
Oh, I did that.
What is that? I just got tons of money. Holy.
Wow.
So the thing is, if you're view botting and you're getting tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars from companies to show their product to viewers that aren't real, well, that's fraud.
Is viewbotting bad? It really depends on how you think about it.
Depends.
It's kind of like lying to sponsors as well. Do I want to feel bad that multi-million-dollar corporations are losing money?
Ooh, buddy.
I don't really care about companies losing money, man. I don't care. Hey, man.
I honestly am not sure if everyone can just view bot and then steal from sponsors. I'm a tiny channel, obviously, so I have no clue how prevalent this is, but it is interesting Tectone openly admits to defrauding them.
And guys, I'm going to keep this vague.
Thank you, Damage.
For a reason, okay? So if you're confused, you're going to stay confused.
There are multiple incidents of SA spoken about in the trial's transcript. I personally don't want to get into details of all of them. However, I want to look at one incident in particular because I believe the records and witness testimony surrounding it absolutely sank Tectone and made me personally truly believe that Tectone is guilty of what he has been accused of. In late May, Pikachu had just recently been to a plastic surgeon to get lip filler done. That night, Pink alleges Tectone asked her to perform an oral action on him. She told Tectone that her lips were hurt because she had just gotten this procedure done and told him she didn't want to. He then allegedly pushed her down and didn't let go until she performed this action. It was so forceful that her lips were in significant pain afterwards, and the filler she had just had done migrated around her face. It was so bad that she required medical treatment after the fact, which is clearly stated on some of the court's paperwork.
That is just absolutely insane. That is like 100% rape.
You were a skeptic and want to say she made this up. Well, don't take my word for it. Take Tectone's.
You know what you can't do to women who have lip filler? You can't their mouth. Because it'll rupture the lip filler. So you can't even go hard. And you know they're not making their own money, so then you gotta pay for another lip filler. How do you know? Man, I wonder. Jesus, bro. Like, bro, I'm telling you, like, these bimbos on the internet, they are not worth a damn. By the way, fellas, just letting you know, lip filler might look good. It's terrible because when a woman has lip filler in, they can't suck your dick as hard. Otherwise, it might fuck up the filler.
Like,
you know, it's very delicate.
Yeah,
like with the lip injections, you can't throw them as hard as you want to because then it'll fuck up their filler. So it's like they'll look really.
The rape apple doesn't fall far from the rape tree. Yeah, that appeal is absolutely going no. I doubt he even does the appeal. He's talking a bunch of shit about it, but it's going to be one of those things he's going to try. He's going to go over to Rumble, and he's going to let all of this stuff try and quietly step aside, right? And that's just what it's going to be.
Really hot, but you can only go like 10% power on them. You have to be careful. Okay, so the reason why it sucks.
Imagine saying that to like a normal person. Hey, I just went and forced my girlfriend to give me head, or a girl who's living with me to give me head, and I busted her fucking lips up. Like, really? I busted her lip filler and fucked her face up. She had to go get medical attention.
Women who look like that is because I'm like a very like hard f***er. You know what I mean? Like I go very hard. Like very hard, very fast. Like it's fine to like start off slow, but then it becomes like a battle, right? Of who can f*** each other the hardest, right?
As you can see, Tectone quite clearly and disturbingly, with all of the context, has quite often reflected on this event with Pink, where after he allegedly forced her to perform an oral action, she had to go to the hospital. You know, as a partner, if a procedure has been done, it's on you to be caring and consoling, not to take advantage of them when they are in pain after an operation like this.
Yes, he is bragging about essentially what's rape.
Just think if your lips are hurting from a surgery.
At least, the very least, like SA.
And your doctor has told you not to perform any sexual actions. What is most likely to have happened here? I mean, you heard Tectone himself talk about how forceful he was, and just how bizarre that is when your partner has just gotten a medical procedure done. Now, after going over how Tectone performed in court and how he brought really nothing new to the table, you can see why the judge found reasonable grounds to believe that an assault happened here. This incident with the lip filler would also be brought up during cross-examination. Pink's lawyer asks, okay, isn't it true that you have posted on social media that it's hot when girls have their lips done with filler for jobs?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and in fact, you've said on social media that you can't go too hard on them when they first get their lip fillers done because it causes problems with the filler, correct?
I'm not familiar with that comment, but perhaps I wouldn't say that I didn't say that.
God.
Okay, and in fact, your exact statements on February 5th of 2025, so after these allegations were made, is...
These are so hot, but in practicality, they are the worst thing to ever exist. So lip fillers, they do make your lips look f***able as shit. But the problem is anybody...
And you know, once like you put this all into hindsight, he's literally doing this to make her feel bad, or to, because he knows she's going to find out he's talking about all of this stuff on stream and all of these things going on. So it's another way to play it. He played the I don't recall. Yeah.
Who has lip fillers cannot suck worth a damn. It sucks. It sucks. Because if they suck too hard, it'll f up their lip fillers. So unless they're able to deep throat your and just let you throat them with their mouth open, it's just not worth it. It's really not.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I became very familiar with the flaws with lip filler.
Henry Resilient, who did a great job running through the outline of the court documents, also made a great point in regards to why Tectone lost in court possibly. Presumably the doctor Pink met with after the lip filler incident testified over Zoom.
February 23rd, Pink requested that a doctor testify via Zoom on her behalf. Not Tectone, who saw the court docs. So this guy, who was one of the leading plastic surgeons, joined the trial to say, hey, whatever they witnessed, whatever it was, it must have been compelling enough. Whatever she said was compelling enough for the protection order to be granted.
This is also backed up in the transcript when the judge talks about generating a Zoom link for a witness.
I mean, she hit him with everything. Guess what? I got the doctor. Guess what? I have this. Yeah, don't pull this shit when there's actual evidence of you. Like, what does he think it was gonna would have happened? I don't know what he thought was going to happen. Like, even if none of this court stuff had come out, even if it hadn't been accidentally leaked by the court, it would have still been like, hey, the court found him liable for rape.
Refer to the witness as a custodian of records, which is someone in court that goes on record for the authenticity of the records presented in court. So Pink's doctor authenticated the records of her injury to the court, which could have also detailed the reason the injury was sustained in the first place. And so if you're the judge and you're trying to determine what likely happened here, and you have someone claiming SA, they have medical documentation and doctor testimony that they were injured during this act, and the man being accused is talking about how forceful he is in regards to doing this thing to someone recovering from a medical procedure, what the f*** are you gonna think? It really is no wonder at all that Tectone lost when you look at what both parties were bringing to the courtroom. However, even with the protection order served, this still wouldn't stop Tectone from communicating with third parties to mount in defense for himself against his ex-girlfriend, which legally speaking seems like a terrible mistake.
You can get laid anywhere with some cash though. Viking Gnome, dude.
Oh, no.
100% true. The Filipino ladyboys in Manila.
Oh, no.
You're an expert. You're an expert.
Sex tourist.
Go east, gentlemen.
Legal Mindset, or Andrew, is a passport bro and YouTube lawyer who lives in Asia. Legal Mindset laid a foundation for defending Tectone publicly, and Tectone, in my opinion, was also communicating with and sending him things such as the transcript itself.
How'd you get the transcripts? Legal Mindset magic, right? Things just appear in Legal Mindset's inbox.
And a confidential polygraph test Tectone took.
I've also got confidential polygraph results that I obtained that are very telling.
Before Legal Mindset even had the transcript.
I'm just going to say this. The polygraph is absolutely a scam. It does not work. It's never worked. It's just there for cops to scare you. Just there for them to scare you to saying that it does work, when all of the evidence, including the guy who invented the thing, points to it not working. His intent was not for it to be like a full truth serum. This guy's going to get disbarred soon. Well, I mean, he's not a lawyer in the U.S. He's a lawyer in Korea. He's not. He doesn't practice law here in the U.S. anymore, as far as I know. There we go.
To new aspects of the case, like how Tectone would use a whiteboard when he had a disagreement with Pink.
And also, here's another thing too, and I think this does come up, is the way that people communicate with each other. So sometimes the way they communicate, it doesn't seem normal. Maybe they communicate primarily by text or whatever. Maybe it's an IRL. Maybe they do other stuff. I think with Tectone, there might have been a whiteboard involved at some point where they're explaining stuff. Maybe that's just how they learn, right? Maybe that's just how they intake information. That doesn't necessarily make it derogatory or negative. Or
Andrew at first tries to find a way to talk around the fact that Tectone is incapable of laying pipe by calling it a kink.
Did his penis ever touch your vagina? Never. So there was no piece of vagina that happened at all, right? It's a kink, right? Once again, kinks are kinks, right?
Kinks are kinks?
Was it sexual? Yes. Okay. It was the most sexual relationship I've had. Well, if it was only jobs, then I will just say that that's like maybe he just hasn't had a lot of relationships. Anyways, I don't want to read too much into it, but yeah. Okay.
Then later he claims
this is like the biggest glazing sex session.
this entire
I didn't watch this because names were put out there on it, and it was also apparently still at the time sealed.
Protection order with alleged SA is simply because Tectone wouldn't lay pipe, which is bizarre.
Mr. Robertson, did you ever engage in intercourse with? Her first question is about intercourse. So all of this is because she didn't get, and I'm going to use a technical term. This is an industry technical term that I've heard from industry professionals, like my friend Sterling Cooper, who used to work in the adult industry.
Jesus.
I think the technical term is dicked down. I think that is the professional term. I think that's a legal term. So
basically, Mindset docs both Pinky and Techie in the stream. Yeah, it was. I just remember hearing about that, and I was like, no, that's just not gonna work. But what he's saying right here, what Legal Mindset is saying is the only reason that this case happened is because she didn't get sex. That's absolutely one of the most insane statements you can possibly make as a lawyer. How many minutes do we have left? We might push through it. 15 minutes. I can play some more, even though I'm just going around fighting.
Because she did not get dicked down, it appears that is what this is about. And the fact that the lawyer led with that shows that that's the impression she wants to give. This is the first question. I'm gonna highlight you guys. The first question she asks.
When in the transcript, Andrew is confronted with the clip of Tectone confirming the lip filler incident when Pink had to go to the hospital. Instead of explaining to his audience why this is disastrous for Tectone in his case, he just glosses over it and calls it a mistake.
So after these allegations made as lip fillers, they do make your lips look as shit. But the problem is anybody who's had lip fillers cannot suck it worth a damn. It sucks because if they suck it too hard, it'll fill up the lip fillers. Is that correct? So he said that. By the way, okay, Tectone, this is pretty stupid, but saying lips look is not a sin, but you should just not criticize people.
But forcing her to give you a blowjob when she's just done it, fucking is.
People's sucking ability so much. I don't know. Anyways, this was not a smart tweet, probably. But whatever, let's continue.
Again, Tectone here is confirming the injury that Pink sustained during the act. Legal Mindset basically paints Pink as mentally ill and runs all the stops as trying to paint this as a Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation.
Apparently, she's got, according to her own confession, some issues she's dealing with, some trauma, maybe some mental health stuff. She has bipolar and BDD. Yeah, I mean, that'll do it right there. But when Pink was worried about something, it consumes her. Sounds like she has really bad depression too.
Yeah.
And the important thing here is we are in a...
So now he's trying to use, as a lawyer, her mental illness as a reason for all of this is happening, and that why she shouldn't be trusted. Yeah, absolutely.
Post-Depp world. There's a lot of Me Too cases that end up absolutely destroying men based on the laws in the West. But Depp versus Heard is when I blew up. So I'm treating this like Depp versus Heard. But in a post-Depp world, we cannot take Me Too at its face.
Andrew talks out of both sides of his mouth, claiming that he is the only objective person who can cover this, while also making it clear he is doing this as a third party because Tectone is unable to.
I'm going to be the only person to cover this kind of objectively and that can cover it. That's the point here, is that Tectone cannot say these things.
Dude,
right?
By far the most insane, glazing you could possibly be. 100% biased. Well, this is the reverse of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Yeah, absolutely. Tectone's the one shitting on the pillow. Off topic, but did you ever look at the Nobody thing I told you about? Not a huge deal. I just thought it was weird shit. I haven't yet, but thanks for reminding me. Another thing that I have to look at. Been pretty crazy since I got home. saying post-dep world makes me lose my mind. Like it's the one case that that made a difference. Like, yeah, Amber Heard was absolutely in the wrong. I mean, there are still people who will say that, you know, she was right, but let's not even get into that.
Right? And cannot actually move against her publicly, right? So he can't defend himself. So a lot of people out there are saying, Tectone, defend yourself, defend yourself. He can't. He can't do anything. He can't say anything, right? That's a big factor here as part of my analysis, that Tectone can't fight back. So this is why he will not cover this. So this is why you need an objective person covering it, and he will not be covering this. He cannot talk about this, guys. This is the point. The point is Tectone cannot defend himself.
Drama with people who wanted to be noisy.
To be honest with you guys, once again, if I'm going to disclose my bias, and I do have a bias here, I like Tectone. And I'm not going to pretend that I don't like Tectone and I don't like the content he covers, and that some of my bias is towards his defense. Listen, the language of this protective order says he cannot do anything to arrest
membership. That's like number 6. Well, I mean, I wonder how his numbers are doing online if you're continuing to get them. Yeah. Well, yeah, but he wasn't honest earlier when he said he was the only unbiased one. And now he's saying how he is biased by it.
Or annoy her. So even releasing documents can be seen as harassing or annoying. So Tectone cannot release this document, right? Now, Legal Mindset is not Tectone. So I can do what I want to do.
The other aspect to this is that Legal Mindset refused to redact any information such as names and addresses, which doxed Pink. The after events of the protection order ruling was a total shit show. Every document that was supposed to be private detailing Pink's essay and home address were leaked originally in Tectone's Discord. The person that posted it found a workaround in the coding of the government site that allowed you to access the files. I actually emailed Travis County because I was wondering if this is what happened, and it turns out that it was. And hours from me emailing the county, the file's accessibility was shut down. Pink actually had to move because of all this, and she actually responded to Legal Mindset on Twitter, claiming this is the, quote, lawyer, Legal Mindset, who posted unredacted leaked documents that were meant to be sealed live to thousands of people to dox me, putting my family in danger. Then pictured is a tweet of Andrew hitting on Pink, which is sort of the more white trash aspect to this, I would say. You know, Legal Mindset is trying to sweep it up and give an incredibly biased reading of a case where Tectone is accused of SA, and then going on Twitter and hitting on the alleged victim, and he's actually done it more than once.
Jesus.
And I pointed out to Legal Mindset, it wasn't the transcript, but the court files that had leaked due to a bug.
He's trying to get Tectone sloppy seconds.
Pink was upset about. He both blocked me and hid my reply. Anyways, beyond being a dishonest degenerate, I did feel there was an oddly poetic moment during his coverage. While trying to obviously work with Tectone to fight against his ex-girlfriend who now had a 10-year protection order, Legal Mindset very suddenly breaks down into tears.
I'm going to fucking cry here, you know, because
so weird.
It's hard to do this. It's hard to do this. Hey,
perfectly
appreciate you guys. I gotta lock in. I gotta lock in. I love you guys. So look at me. People are gonna make fun of me. Be like, look, Legal Mindset crying on stream. I don't give a shit.
So pretty simply, what you have is Tectone, who just got a protection order by the courts, working with and sending things to YouTube lawyers to then release that information and fight back against her in the public square. Tectone and Legal Mindset didn't always get along. In fact, Tectone quite disliked Legal Mindset, who used to refer to Tectone as a 39 IQ buffoon.
People like Tectone have lost reality with like the real world and how things have to be in a contract. Like, I mean, caveman smash guy.
I agree. He shouldn't be a lawyer. There's rumors that he's a sex tourist, and that's why he moved over there. And there's also rumors that he ran there because of tax issues. So yeah, I kind of agree.
Over there, 39 IQs in the chat for Tectone. So now Tectone, I guess, is going to say something dumb. Wow, these people are just dumb. Like, are they not thinking about the reality of how these things work? So I don't want to keep you guys awake too long. I think we've seen enough of losing brain cells. 39 IQ takes for the night. But yeah, this is pretty bad.
I really don't give a about this Legal Mindset guy. I really don't. Like, I mean, I could pretend that I do, but I really just fucking don't, man. I will admit, I think Legal Mindset's a very dangerous creator because a lot of people take what he says far too seriously.
and he's really missed the mark when he was talking about me. And I think that's very dangerous when people hold your word to such high degree, and then you go farm and you just get some PR dunk points. I think that's very dangerous.
And obviously, I'll say I don't really hold too much that they were like, I guess enemies can become friends. Sure. The reasoning behind it, though, is usually the more funny thing. Legal Mindset is such a suck up. Yeah. Weak men. All of these weak men. Okay, where is
YouTuber Cinder? So if you don't.
But I have just such a bitter taste in my mouth ever since he attempted to me over some bullshit. Yeah, I kind of just take everything he says with a grain of salt.
Once Tectone's legal issues began closing in, he did a total 180 and began glazing Legal Mindset to such a degree it would make Thai ladyboys blush.
American Attack.
I highly recommend everybody watching this video right now go subscribe to Legal Mindset and support the original channel as well. I just like getting informed on everything, and obviously pretty soon I'm going to be getting very involved with the law, and I want to make sure that I am ready to dissect my enemies.
Not only was he glazing, but leading up to his legal issues, he was also speaking with Mindset frequently.
Which, by the way, I've been talking to Legal Mindset quite a lot. He's a very nice guy. Believe, and I'll have to ask Legal Mindset.
Yeah,
Legal
what a surprise.
Mindset, aka the sexiest man on Twitch. God, bro, look at him.
He's into dudes. He's into me. He keeps hitting on me, right? It's a little bit uncomfortable, right?
Just a few weeks later, Pink filed her protection order against Tectone on August 21st. Here's Tectone 4 days later.
Legal Mindset is one of the greatest gifts to content creation in the past 3 years. One of the best channels on the entire platform, and I stand by that. Side note to you, Legal Mindset, you have now broken into my 5 favorite content creators to watch. I was even watching your YouTube live stream this morning. Amazing streamer, amazing content creator, a brilliant mind.
Like you see just how fake all of this is, right? It's all because they're under the same umbrella, or what they would say under the same team, or whatever you want to call it, that they do this completely dumb fake idea that they're friends now.
Into the legal space. I love this shit.
Just 1 month after Pink got her protection order, Tectone got Legal Mindset signed to Mythic Talent.
So of course I joined the talent agency Mythic, and this was put out on September 27th, so it's 3 days ago, which was really awesome. Big thanks to Tectone for helping me out. He actually got me in contact and let me get in contact with the leadership, the CEO, the COO. It was really awesome to meet them and to talk about them.
And one of the things I'm not even sure was very well known was that Tectone was a creator behind Mythic Talent.
Yes.
And then Mythic Talent was an organization that I created with some peers from another company called AFK, where they were actually, not being too kind to their employees. I took some of their
they just dropped him.
employees and made our own ad company to bring money to creators.
You can send this to whoever the fuck wants to hear it. So I keep on being told, and this is real, by the way. I've seen this comment so much. I keep on being told that Legal Mindset is like incredibly biased and in my favor and will defend me to the brink of death because I got him into Mythic Talent.
Yeah.
Me personally, it just seems like Tectone courted Legal Mindset leading up to his legal troubles, and once the protection order was served, used his connections in the industry to prop him up and scratch his back, which would inevitably lead to Mindset's absurd defense of Tectone once the trial results came in. And
Legal Mindset, do not get any lip filler. I repeat, do not get any lip filler.
Legal Mindset on his side and hired a Mythic Talent may have in fact been a strategy.
I'm glad we have people like Sensitive Society and WestJet.
Other content creators who have collaborated and been on Tectone's podcast also cover this story, such as WestJet and Sensitive Society.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and conceal my bias. I want Tectone to be innocent. I like the guy. I don't want him to be a but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and carry water for Tectone and the girl with information I don't have, calling her a liar and stuff like that.
Because I'm friends with Tectone, I guess it's time the elephant in the room gets addressed. You guys know me. I like to keep it 100 with everyone. And of course, it's no secret that I like Tectone. I've talked to him. He's been...
God, so that's like... Damage Sector, would you rather have Ron Coleman or Legal Mindset represent you? I kind of trust ChatGPT more than I trust Legal Mindset, so I got to go with Ron. What about you, Damaged?
Been nothing but kind to me. A few months ago, he invited me onto his podcast.
So they state their biases in the video. However, for large portions of both of their videos, Simply had Legal Mindset giving the most absurd takes on the case.
They're almost trying to paint him in a way, if you know what I mean.
Never actually engaged in traditional intercourse. It was only he received blowjobs. There was never any reciprocation. So they're literally making a case that because he didn't have sex with her, this is abuse, right? So
what?
I just want to make it clear here that there's an argument here
for the memes. Yes.
that really the problem is they didn't.
Now, thankfully, YouTube lawyer made a video about this a day ago, explaining everything.
He approached this very innocently after he was betrayed in a relationship, which Freem cheated on him. In fact, all the communications I reviewed show Tectone as a reasonable, kind guy. Don't say. He says, I will never understand how much this must hurt you, but proud you're fighting through it. And this is not the language I would see of an abusive partner, someone is hurting or someone who's out there to get somebody, but someone who really genuinely wants.
You know, that roof landing was slick. I didn't see the roof until the last minute. Sensitive Society, I've like watched one or two of his videos. He's not it's never very interesting in terms of like commentary YouTubers.
Wants to help, and it's
him and Pegasus are literally just garbage slop tubers. Yeah.
Seems like this may be a case of what you call buyer's remorse in dating, where you go back.
That's slop that this pig won't even touch.
And you say, okay, well, now that I'm out of this, this is a situation where it was buyer's remorse. I regret things I did, or I regret stuff I did, even though it was consensual at the time. And unfortunately, as I got to report to you guys, the U.S. legal system weaponizes this. It allows people to go back, regret things, and then go get protective orders, go make claims in the future when all of this should be dealt with privately.
My problem with those,
you hear this all the time, but yeah, if some chick goes with you and it's like regret, then more than likely you're gonna have the proof of it there. Like they can't just go in and say, oh hey, I he raped me, and it automatically win. There has to be some substance there still. Yes, it's not as high as say a legal case, like a criminal case, but they still have to prove something.
These videos is that if you're going to talk about this case, then people should actually know some of the damning things within it. Because you aren't talking about how Pink, while recovering from an operation, was injured, that there is medical documentation to back it up, and that Tectone himself has openly stated that this event happened, and you just have Legal Mindset on screen talking about how the problem actually is.
It's funny because Sensitive Society's only video ever worth commentating on or seeing is when he thinks was Tectone's video because it was so bad. Oh yeah. What's wrong with her? Oh, him. Another lazy man. This game's so woke.
Is that Pink wasn't getting then that's sweeping. I think it largely helps Tectone from people that have collaborated with them. It also seems like at least WestJet had some idea that Tectone was just working with Legal Mindset.
Genuinely don't know how effective polygraphs are, but it is interesting how Legal Mindset even got this confidential file in the first place.
Sensitive Society would actually issue an apology for his video.
His opinion, the only people that I care about is my audience, and if you feel let down by my video on Tectone, I do apologize for that. It 1,000% falls on me. I think I should have done a better job covering the situation, maybe not be as biased.
And shortly after would take down both his apology and the original Tectone protection order video he made.
They call him a generational rapist. Yes. When you have people that are spreading, at least from his perspective, the court case is not finished. And so I do know more about it than the public.
Like, dude, just stand by it when you're wrong. If you're wrong, take it on the chin and move on. Like, the internet's forever. Someone's going to notice that you erased both of those videos, and someone's probably going to have an archive if it's a bigger internet drama, right? Even then, some of the small shitter ones, like my size and bigger, will have that same problem. It's a perspective. Anyways, why delete it? Yeah, it's on preserve YouTube. Anyways, why delete it? Exactly.
And also, I remain to be Tectone's friend, and I support Tectone. You can take that for what you will. So, as somebody who knows more about this than the public, I think that when he comes back, all of this is going to make a lot more sense. I'll certainly say that. So, don't worry about it, guys. Tectone will be back. It's not going to be a big deal. Everything's totally fine.
Asmongold supported Tectone and frequently alluded to Tectone's innocence and knowing things the public didn't. However, once Tectone lost his case, this was his reaction.
Streaming is just... it's so toxic, man. Tectone is a civil case. Based on a lawsuit that I'm in right now, I don't want to make any comments on it, just for the sole reason of because of that lawsuit. If it wasn't for that, I would have talked about it a lot.
So Asmon has this lawsuit with Mizkif. However, many people covered the trial's fallout, and it really doesn't prohibit him from talking about Tectone's case. There's no reason to include Mizkif in this.
Oh, maybe all of my friends are just, you know...
If you're going to deflect, you got to bring up something else, right? And make it sound good so that your audience can like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Problem boys, right? Because I have tons of friends that have like felonies and they've been in jail and everything. And so, you know, I guess for me, you know, it's not that big of a surprise. I don't really care or want to have anything to do with other people's drama. I just don't give a shit about it. Like, I don't want to talk about it, explain it.
Basically, Asmon just took the cop out. Tectone's lawsuit has nothing to do with Mizkif whatsoever. And in reality, it's just a bad look for him as someone who has been defending Tectone leading up to this point where he is then found civilly liable for SA.
This is a whore.
Exactly. He runs one of those most like toxic communities out there and says some of the dumbest things that you've ever heard. But, you know, it's just so toxic around here, guys, please. It's not a surprise my friends are pieces of trash criminals.
Chad said don't call her whore. You know, what do you mean? She's a whore. Tectone, you dated a whore. It didn't work out.
Nuxtaku is another creator who, after the court's decision, defended Tectone, obfuscated aspects of the case, and attacked Pink or Tectone. Nux recently was exposed for having a minor in his Patreon Discord who was groomed with explicit adult material and walked through the best ways to do SH. There's really no way to get around that this event happened as everything was archived. Nick Andros has a video on the topic and you should check it out.
It's funny seeing how all of these people hang out together. What a surprise that all of the people hanging out in chats, Chibi Reviews, Tectone, Asmongold, Nux, they're all huge pieces of shit.
However, I just wanted to illustrate how these people work and how these absurd defenses go both ways. You scratch my grooming back, I'll scratch your rapist back.
Looked like good choice, Kaz. I don't think Legal Mindset knows anything actually about law.
Nuxtaku completely obliterated all.
The rape trial decision to Nux exposure to leaflet Discord exposure is truly one of the craziest domino effects this year. Yes. Oh man, we're only into March. We are only into March of this year, but look what it's already done, right?
All of the allegations that were thrown his way in the matter of 5 minutes. So that was always really fun. I mean, the amount of people were like, you need to denounce Nux. You need to denounce Nux. I'm good, bro. I love Nux.
It's also worth noting this isn't the same as someone just ignoring a controversy, let's say. Some of these people are actually trying to obfuscate and dishonestly represent aspects of these stories in an attempt to benefit themselves and the person they are subverting for. Think Before You Sleep, I would say, had the most insane video on the topic where every subject is missing a ton of context and it's all in service of attempting to help Tectone. The first 2 minutes, he just talks shit about Pink and calls her a catfish.
I mean, this is an insane amount of catfishing. I'm not even looking at the same person when I compare a live stream to a photo of her.
What? Dude, incels are like the people that call women ugly on the basis things are like this guy saying catfishing, or it's like insane. Have you ever seen like a woman? Have you ever been with a woman? It doesn't make any sense. Leaflet is still crashing out over it and simply can't take accountability, and it's funny. Think Before You Sleep is a crazy rabbit hole to get into. Oh, is it? Yeah, one of those ones that I've never seen, but to be able to say that, like, all right, can we go back a little bit? Hold on. We'll pop in here just a little bit back. Boop. Come on. Come on. Play.
Think Before You Sleep, I would say, had the most insane video on the topic where every subject is missing a ton of context and it's all in service of attempting to help Tectone. The first 2 minutes, he just talks shit about Pink and calls her a catfish.
I mean,
have I seen the TBYS Think Before You Sleep video on Tectone and the Cope tweets he made after? No, I haven't. No, I absolutely haven't. Maybe he'll bring some of them up here.
this is an insane.
Like, are you really like, okay, let's be serious and look at this woman. He legit crashed out when he lost. That's hilarious. Like this, you're going to look at the pictures of this woman and then like cope that it's a catfish. Like you just say that you've never had sex before, right? That you've never been with a woman.
Amount of catfishing. I'm not even looking at the same person when I compare a live stream to a photo of her.
Well, that doesn't surprise most of these guys. When you look at a lot of these things that happen, when you look at a lot of this stuff that happens, they don't look into any of it. They're not, if they look into it, they might not be able to defend their friend. So they'll just completely ignore it. Like Leaflet did that shit with Nux, which only got her shit exposed too. He's dodging the L. He got really pissed when he found out the video was poorly received by his peers. I mean, you sweep too much and you're going to blow dust in everybody's face.
He does bring up the lip filler incident, but pretends there isn't medical documentation or Tectone talking about the incident on his stream several times.
Anyway, Pink Chu said that she had just gotten lip filler, and Tectone had forced her into oral sex, which had ruined the lip filler. Geez, another plastic surgery-related incident? Do all of her allegations have some sort of plastic surgery involved? Now, is there any corroborating evidence that this happened? Not really.
You know what you can't do to women who have lip filler? You can't their mouth because it'll rupture the fucking lip filler. You know, it's very delicate. Like with the lip injections, you can't throat them as hard as you want to because then it'll fuck up their filler. So it's like they'll look really hot, but you can only go like 10% power on them. I'm like a very like hard f***er. You know what I mean? Like I go very hard.
But that's only apparently in the face, right? Only in the mouth. He can't do that to the pussy. It scares him.
Hard.
TBYS throughout the video explains that he believes the protection order is actually a grand conspiracy by Hassan Piker and
he's a pussy when it comes to pussy.
His lackeys.
This whole situation was a coordinated effort from multiple streamers to ruin his career. Hassan Piker has this ongoing war with Asmongold, probably because he's mad that Asmon is more famous than him. Hassan likes to sit back and have his little lackeys do all the dirty work for him. This is a famous tactic of his, and he primarily works by not directly saying that he has certain values, but he will signal boost all the people who have...
It's always Hassan's fault. If it's not Hassan's fault, it's trans people's fault. It's so funny.
The values that he wants to promote by watching their content on his stream. That being said, Tectone is friends with Asmongold. Hassan wants to attack Asmongold in any way that he can, so I think his lackeys came up with a plot to destroy Tectone. They do this a lot.
So what are we trying to do here? Well, with absolutely no evidence, TBYS wants to impress upon his viewers that if you think Tectone raped, think again, because this is actually a plot from Hassan Piker, who's pulling the strings in the background. It's so absurd to me that anyone would try to use Hassan Piker as a shield from being found liable in civil court for SA, someone who has literally nothing to do with this protection order between these two people. It should be an insult to the intelligence of someone's fans to even try to push something like this, but here we are. Tectone behind the scenes was sending streamers this video and told them it had been in the works for a long time.
Oh, yeah,
and I know there might be some people thinking, oh my gosh.
The dude probably had his password as fucking password.
Does Techless even want you to watch this? Yes, he asked me to watch this, so yes. He's told me this one has been in the works for a while. So yeah. That's one of the reasons why we're going to be watching.
So let's think about this. After receiving a 10-year protection order, where the judge found reasonable grounds that Tectone had committed stalking and SA, he is now sending hit pieces against his ex-girlfriend to other streamers where they are pretty openly doxing her and not redacting any info. This is true in TBYS and Legal Mindset's case. It is a violation of the protective order.
Oh yeah, Chibi throwing his ex under the bus just to show she had a reason to dump him. Yeah. Has there been any more on that besides the fact that she left him for his best friend and he lost everything?
To use a third party to harass a protected person. So if Tectone is facilitating this with other creators, He could be in some serious trouble before this is all said and done. But in both TBYS and Legal Mindset's case, I personally believe there is just more for them to gain in defending Tectone and trying to obfuscate certain aspects of the case we talked about today. Tectone co-created Mythic Talent, he has many different connections in the space, and remains friends with creators like Asmongold. Being closer to those networks is obviously beneficial for people operating in that ecosystem. This case is not your typical run-of-the-mill accusations online case.
Well, it's like one big fortress arc where they stay in their own little, zones, probably view botting, trying to keep the money flowing, I guess. What else are they doing at this point? They're not any kind of actual movement. They're just retarded ass rich YouTubers.
You have medical records proving there were injuries sustained during the alleged act, with numerous references to the incident by the accused. This makes it all the more depraved to me that people are so willing to just obfuscate details of a rape case in order to get ahead online. It's about as slimy as it gets, really. Tectone, of course, utilizing these people to attack his ex-girlfriend, who now has a protection order, really goes to show the pattern of behavior and only reinforces some of the reasons the protection order was granted in the first place. Both Tectone's ex-wife and ex-girlfriend have accused him of SA. In my first video, I laid out a timeline and multiple examples of Tectone lying to show why viewers should be more open-minded about what may have happened with his partners. Now we also have medical records documenting bodily harm and Tectone himself admitting on camera that the injury occurred during a sexual act. That kind of documented injury can function as an aggravating factor and strengthen a finding of liability. There are only so many occurrences that can happen before giving someone the benefit of the doubt becomes untenable. So it's not just my personal opinion that Tectone did these things, but given the repeating pattern with his ex-wife and ex-girlfriend, I fully expect this type of behavior from him to continue. Given how Tectone has handled losing his case and coordinating with other creators to attack Pink using third parties.
I mean, this is like, we're seeing like patterns of behavior. We'll never probably find out what happened with his, his ex-wife because of like the court cases and things like that, but he's definitely going to do this to other people. He'll probably feel like he got away with it, and he's probably still going to try and push the limits with Pikachu. He has to be the winner in his own story. Come on, big boy, let's go. So it's just that it's crazy, some of the things, because I hadn't looked too deep into it. But like hearing about the lip filler and things like that, oof. And then of course now he's leaving YouTube. He's abandoned Kick. So Rumble is going to be his main platform. And he's probably pretending like that's some big hit to YouTube when they could give a shit less. What was this? What's this? Oh, okay. Logging X. Cool. All right, guys. So with that, I want to thank everybody for coming by. If you haven't already, like the stream on the way out. If you're new and want to, go ahead and subscribe. I will be back tomorrow where we will be watching the Real Game Awards to catch up on all of the gaming stuff. Thank you, Money. Y'all have a wonderful night, and thank you for stopping by.